It's too hot. It is simply too hot to live, but I'm here anyways. Hello. And okay, and good time zone. And what is up, gamers? And if you are still here even after that absolutely ham-fisted intro just now, thank you. Thank you so much for sticking with me. Anyways, lovely to be here. It's not lovely to be right now. Oh my god. Oh my god, I don't know if you can hear. But I've got a little electric desk fan just sort of under my space to try and keep me from overheating. And it is doing so little. Crucially, it's not reaching my head either, which is statistically the warmest part of your body where all the heat is supposed to escape from. But no, it just stays there. So I'm going to try really hard to maintain a positive attitude and be cheerful today. But I wouldn't hold my breath, chat. Anyways, no, I'm kidding. Anyways, it's lovely to be here regardless. Hello, everyone. Welcome on in. Hope you are having good Thursdays. I hope the weather is palatable wherever you are, and I hope if it's not, you are able to at least hydrate and find ways to stay. I'm trying to think cool thoughts, but honestly, all I can think is sweat. My train of thought is sweat. Sweat, 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 sweat. Sweat, 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 sweat. Sweaty, sweaty, sweat, sweat. It is horrific. I have showered twice today. And I'm still just, I don't recommend it. Anyways, hi everybody. Hello Indigo, hello Gobi, hello Turnip. How are you doing, y'all? It's wonderful to see you. Welcome on in. As you can see, we're working on this again, because I don't know if you remember last time, I said, you know, there's not a lot left to do on this piece. I think I'm just going to complete it off stream. And then I didn't. Because why? Because it was too damn hot! Literally, Tuesday evening, I was like, okay, I'm gonna sort of, when I finished my other capitalismly mandated tasks for the day, when I finished, you know, putting together our marinated bean salad for Din-Dins, I'm gonna finish this painting. I'm gonna pop into the studio and finish the painting. And then I didn't, because, oh my goodness, my brain was done by that point in the day. Yesterday, I completed my day about half an hour early because I simply was no longer able to function. But this was because I had meetings yesterday, and the meetings were in, like, a criminally unventilated room at the hottest time of day, on the hottest day of the year. And I'm expected to pay attention for 90 minutes? Come on, people. That's just unreasonable. I think at that point you say, okay, it's too hot, let's cut our losses and just do it, you know, as like a video call, and you can all be somewhere with air conditioning. Anyways, so, yeah. So that was fun. That's just mean, says Turnip. It was so mean. Indigo says, I don't need to pee anymore. Please hydrate. Please, please, please hydrate. I will tell you now, I've got 3 drinks today. This is actually a camp coffee and oat milk, because I did not have it in me to use hot water to brew coffee, and I'm just not a fan of cold brew coffee. So I put camp coffee and some oat milk. That's this. I do also have a bottle of Lucozade Sport. Gotta get that hydration up. And I have a cup of tea here, but it's not fully cold yet, and I couldn't fit any more ice cubes into it, so I'm letting that just come down to room temp at least, which might be a little bit more tolerable. And that's my drinks cart for now, but it will probably change once we do our midstream ad slash go get yourself a drink, go pee, etc. break. Because yeah. Please, please, please drink fluids. But I know the feeling of just sweating out all of the fluids you consume before they become waste in this kind of weather. This is the kind of thing where I remember hearing anecdotally, I've never been there, but hearing anecdotally from a friend of mine who was there for, I think he lived there for a year, in Okinawa, in Japan, and saying that, like, when the summertime hits, that he just found, like, you just didn't take pee breaks, because you just sweated all the fluids out before they could get there. I'm like, but that's Okinawa. That's, you know, if you don't know where Okinawa is, like, relative to the sort of main islands of Japan, it's pretty heckin' tropical, okay? That's not supposed to happen in the United Kingdom, which I moved to in part because this is Northern Europe, but here we are. Just a solid week of unpleasantly scorchio. I do not like it. Wearing a backpack in this heat is suffering, says Indigo. Oh no. Oh no. You need to get one of those. You need to get one of those now. Listen, I know this is like stereotypically things that like your grandma uses, but you need to get one of those like those shopping carts that are on wheels, and they're made out of that sort of like waterproof sort of checked pattern fabric. You know the ones I'm talking about, right? You need to get one of those. I say this as someone who, when I was at university, instead of carrying around a rucksack with my books all day, I just didn't bring any of my books to any of my lectures. I would bring one book that day and be like, this is the book that I'm going to do work with in between my lectures. So I had one notebook that I took notes in, and one book that I would read on that given day, and I would cycle through whichever sort of course I was working on a project in. I may not have been the best student, but I was trying my best. I also didn't realize that I had, like, disabilities at that point in my life. You just have to learn to apply yourself, disease. Anyways, unpractical for bike riding, says Indigo. Oh no, cycling in this weather? Oh, you poor creature. I hope that you're able to get yourself something to drink. And into some shelter, some shady shelter, maybe somewhere with air conditioning, but if where you're at is anything like where I'm at, that's like the freezer section of the supermarket, and that's basically it. Or a hotel room. Honestly, one of the joys of, like, in fact, I think the only joy of, I've chosen to travel on this day, but it turns out it's a really, really, really hot day, is when you have a hotel for the night, and your hotel is air conditioned, and you just whack it down to the coldest temperature possible to sleep in. Oh, feels so good. The last place we stayed in, the air conditioning unit in the room was kind of noisy, which was a little terrible, but on the other hand, I would not countenance having it, like, switched off or down because it was just too freaking hot. Anyways, I'm so ready for this to be over. I'm so sorry to talk about it so much. How is everyone doing besides? I hope you're having a good one. I kind of just want to jump right into working on this piece because I just want it to be done. You know, you kind of reach that point in a piece where, like, it's almost done, but it feels like the last stages of completing it are taking forever. I do have a sketch of what I wanted to work on today if I'd had a chance to finish this. It's this. The sketch is somewhat incomplete. I want to just rough in kind of the location, kind of a little bit more the shapes of the rocks and a little bit where the trees are, but very, very abstractly. Because it is just like... Well, it is a couple of little dudes just swimming in a swimming hole under a waterfall. Vaguely based on some waterfalls in Japan that I found pretty pictures of. But it's not based on any specific location. It's just somewhere pretty that exists in my mind. 'Cause, I don't know, I wish I was going for a swim right now. I do have a local leisure center that has a pool. But, you know... I don't know, time, effort, all that jazz. And money. It costs money to go swim. And most of the time I find that to be not the most, what's the word I seek? Cost-effective use of my time. But also, I don't know about y'all, but I am really nervous about, going swimming and doing, like, a lane swimming session, because I don't consider myself a very strong swimmer. I haven't been swimming on the regular in quite a few years. I used to go swimming every week, and that felt really good, but I haven't been able to do that in a very, very long time, and it makes me feel a little bit sad, but I also therefore know that I'm a very slow swimmer. I'm a very not very good swimmer, and if I feel in any way, shape, or form that my physical presence trying to do exercise is actively inconveniencing other people or annoying other people, I'm going to struggle super hard to actually continue to do it. So when I can, I really love getting to book hotel rooms with pools when we go on holidays. But obviously, you know, depending on the location, if it's someplace like London, trying to get a hotel room with a pool is going to be so much more expensive. Oh my God. I can't do it. I did. It wasn't until after I booked the hotel for our holiday to Denmark that I was like, oh dang, I should have looked for a room with a pool. And then I looked up some rooms with pools and I was like, oh, that's 4 times more expensive than like the Ibis. Never mind. Love a good Ibis. It's basic chain hotel. They all pretty much look the same, no matter what country you're in. And as much as I love, you know, sort of like a nifty little boutique hotel or something, they tend to be a little bit spenny, and I don't have any money, and I don't do Airbnbs, so the, predictable chain hotel it is. Okay. So I need to figure out how do I want to complete this? And I think the answer is mostly add more grass and then add in some flowers and stuff. Yeah, I don't think I've been in non-bathtub water in 5 years, says Indigo. Oh my goodness. I love it so much, but I also, depending on the circumstances, I can find it stressful. I think part of the reason I like hotel pools is that no one is really there to do like a serious business like workout exercise session generally. People are just kind of floating around. And there's usually also, in my experience anyways with hotel pools, if you go at the right times of day, there's not really very many people there. There, you know, most of the time when I've been swimming in hotels, there's like maybe 2 or 3 other people in the pool. But oftentimes there's nobody, and that's great for me, because I can just do my laps as leisurely and intermittently as I want, feel like I've gotten a good workout, but not felt like I'm going too slow for the slow lane, or, like, when you're trying to do sort of, you know, paddling back and forth in the pool, and someone, you know, to one side of you is also paddling back and forth in the pool, but they're doing like big splashy moves, which means that the water is displacing a ton and it's making it harder for you to paddle, but also you keep getting like waves splashing in your face, and water gets up your nose, and then you have to stop because you've just gotten water into your airways, and people coming to the pools who are wearing a butt ton of aftershave, because as soon as you get wet, that smell just permeates the whole room so strongly, and it's disgusting, and you shouldn't do it. Anyways, why is it over 25 degrees C, says Casa. What is this weather? This weather is garbage and needs to be stopped. Like, why is the government not doing anything about this? That is my question. When will the government make it not be summertime anymore? Can we abolish this? I'm gonna send a letter to the king and say, Dear Charles, the weather sucks. I realize you probably have air conditioning in your big fancy castle, but we peasants are sweating to death. Please unfuck it. Love, me. I figure if I append it with love, he doesn't need to know my personal stance on whether or not monarchies exist. just, I don't know, do your job. Anyways. Indigo says, I'll go swimming once I figure out a swimsuit situation. Hell yeah, I love that for you. Ernesto, thank you so much for the follow. Welcome on in. Thank you. I hope you're having a delightful Thursday. It's wonderful to see you. Hello. I'm gonna... Actually, you know what I'm gonna do? I'm gonna start with yellow, because I think this green is too... This green is like fluorescent. It's not actually, but it is so bright. If I can just show you how... This doesn't even capture how bright this green is. but it is so much more saturated as a pigment than others that it's too powerful. It is too powerful a pigment, it turns out, than any of these others. It's very full on. Which was an interesting learning experience for me, building and blending together this palette. But I want to mix together these two and maybe a little bit of you, Mr. Chromium Orange Hue, plus Potter's Pink, because it is a blend. These are all a blend of something and Potter's Pink. That is my Harmonious Paint palette, which is kind of doing its job, but not do it. It's doing a subtle job. I have a more unsubtle palette I want to use for our next painting because I think it'll make for some interesting results with the subject I want to do with that one. I think looking at the two of them together, I think it'll be interesting to see how things are looking. But this paint is so incredibly saturated that I think I'm gonna pick up this color first, lest I get green and the yellow, basically. Cassia says the government is busy literally fighting fires and watching sports ball. Oh, sports ball. Oh, sports ball. Why, it's like, is this really a time for sports ball? It's too hot to play sports ball. How could you possibly even go for a short walk in this weather and not just feel like absolute boo-boo garbage? I managed a short walk yesterday at around 4 p.m. and when I got to my destination 15 minutes later, and bearing in mind I was pretty much in the shade the entire time, but by the time I got to my destination 15 minutes later, I just cried, and apparently my heart rate was going completely bonkers. So it's fair to say I was not made for this weather. Oh well, anyways, Indigo says, I always like the look of swim trunks and bikini top. That looks like such a cool and comfy and, like, I don't know, you're gonna have a fun time swimwear combination. I think my personal preferences for what I wear as, like, swimwear tend to err more on the side of, like, modesty, but that's just because I don't like being perceived, and the swimsuit is probably the tightest and most revealing thing I'm likely to wear in my life in any sort of vaguely public location. So I have like an old lady style swimsuit that has a little skirt on the bottom. I think it looks really cute, but I also recognize that it's like, it's made for fat old ladies so that people don't perceive what their bodies look like. I think if I had to replace it, I'd probably go for something a little bit more, I don't know, a little bit more mask-leaning, like some cute swimming trunks and then just like a tank suit under it, probably. I think that would be really cute. Very glad not to be in London this week. It was horribly sticky last week, says Casa. Oh my god, I can't even imagine how much the Londonites are suffering. Can you imagine the state of the tube right now? It's gotta be so nasty. It'll be well into the 30s on the tube. For anyone who has not experienced the London tube, I absolutely adore the London Underground Network. I think it's super fun and really cool and a great place to go do London-y things via, but with that being said, oh my god, it gets so hot down there. Especially if there's, like, any people, even like, oh, yay, a breeze is blowing past. That breeze is dirty and it's hot. And I don't like it. Ooh, Kofi says I might go full Victorian bather and get one of those stripy suits. Honestly, do it. I love those. They're so cool. And I feel like more people should wear them. I wholeheartedly encourage you to do that. That would be hecking awesome. Oh my goodness. That would be super cool. Yes, you should do that. Hell yeah. I want to do that. Anyways, this is today's painting. Let's see if I can actually finish it, or I'm just gonna waffle for the next hour. Oh, goodness gracious. And thank you to everyone who's actually here. I think my promotional attempts pre-stream today were pretty bare minimum because I'm just too tired. I'm just too tired to do anything right now. So the thought of being more, I don't know, proactive than I already am is like, nah, you know what, I'm good. I'm good. Okay, I'm gonna start popping some more slightly differently colored grass onto the lawns here. Just give it a little bit of variation. I think would be nice. This is a slightly yellower hue of grass, which hopefully should give things some of that sweet, sweet visual interest that we love to see so much. Come on, this paint is going on in very thick lines, which I don't super love, but it could be all right in places, I think. Okay. All right. I hope this doesn't end up looking stupid. I really hope this doesn't end up looking stupid. Indigo says, where is SammyBot 2000? Automatically send links to everyone it can find. Oh, I could use a SammyBot 2000. That is for sure. I don't. I literally, I think some people do have like some kind of integration with Twitch and Discord where like when they go live, it just automatically notifies Discord. I do not. So if you see a notification on my Discord or other people's Discords where I'm like, hey, I'm live now, I had to write that out myself. I had to copy paste that or type it out or do whatever. I also usually let Twitter know that I'm live, and sometimes I'll let Mastodon know that I'm live. I don't usually bother with Blue Sky because I don't post to Blue Sky very often these days because I don't know, maybe I just didn't make a good enough concerted effort to find my preferred people, my preferred social on Blue Sky. My Blue Sky feed is largely posts about like classic Doctor Who and other sort of British things from people who grew up in the UK in the 1970s, which is not really my shared lived experience by any stretch. And therefore feels a little bit weird. Do I want to add another shade of grass? Yeah, what the hell? I'll add another shade of grass, but I'm going to do it really, really simply by blending in just a mote of my blue, which is, if memory serves, it's cobalt blue deep. And I would actually like to do... That's done so little. This paint is very, very... It has a lovely bright tone to it, but it's very transparent, I think. It's not the strongest of pigments on its own. It's not nearly as strong as my green. I didn't really choose these pigments for equivalent strength. I chose them for, like, equivalent light fastness. This is actually turning it kind of gray rather than a bluer green. Oh, no. Okay, maybe it needs more blue. Just gonna really dial up the bluegrass. I can't claim to ever have known how to play the banjo, but I have attempted to play a banjo before. But mostly in the sense of like, well, I know how to play guitar, and it's a stringed instrument that you hold, so it can't be that far off. And then trying and being like, oh, dang, nope. How do? Confusion. Okay. This paint is not doing it for me. This blend is just going muddier and grayer and grayer, and I want something that's got a little bit more of a... I think it's the orange in it. But anyways, I do love a bit of bluegrass music, though. I think it's fantastic. I think just the skill of being able to play a banjo like that is so fun. It's so fun. And it's also just generally, I think, a very fun genre of music. You don't really get a lot of like really sad bluegrass music. Anyways. Yep, that's blue. It's kind of gone a bit sort of almost a violet blue. I really want to use so I find for this painting I really didn't use a lot of the like warmer what I'd like to do with this palette is I've done a painting that uses a lot of like green and yellow and red kind of. I want to do a painting with this palette that uses a lot more like blue and purple and brown and see how that compares in terms of color harmony and how it ends up looking. Indigo says Jam once said trees are blue. I mean, the grass is blue, so whom's to knows? Colors are all lies, says Cass. If it's Zevi, everything is yellow. Yes, if you're not familiar with friend of the channel and fellow artiste extraordinaire, Art by Zavesta, when I have seen them like actually eyedropper tool the colors in their paintings, they're like, okay, you see this rock here? That looks gray, right? It's yellow. Hello, Alba. Welcome in. How are you doing? It's lovely to see you. Welcome, welcome. But yeah, genuinely. Or she'll like, okay, look at this green frog. Eyedropper. It's yellow. I think the brain breakingness of this for me makes it really hard for me to attempt to translate working in that kind of genuinely batshit bonkers color palette to working in traditional media, because my mind really struggles to visualize how yellow is going to end up looking green in the final product. Like, I cannot do it. I cannot do it. It's too weird, and I don't understand it. Oh, wow. Yup, these colors just straight up made gray. Okay, guess I'm gonna have to add some green to it. Because this green will claw it back into a cooler green, I think. Hell yeah! Okay, there we go. Color theory is wild, but also sometimes just the way different pigments interact with each other is wild, because some pigments are just naturally more saturated than others. Some pigments are very finely, have very, like, non-granulating flat effect when you paint them out. Like, it will just look like a sheet of color. Other paints are very, very granulating. Like, this is just what the paint does. I didn't do anything to make it be that texture. The pigment just will sit very unevenly on your paper and gather into these nooks and crannies and give you texture and stuff. And then some colors don't really do that so much and just give you a nice sort of flat wash of uniformity. And playing with this is very, very, very fun, but it also means that mixing up colors together on your own can sometimes result in some very strange and unexpected blends depending on how one color decides to interact with another. Anyways, Turnip is lurking. Thank you very much for the lurk, Turnip. Much appreciated. Thank you, thank you. Let us add in some more little grassy doots. I just want it to feel, I don't know, a little bit livelier, a little bit more. Like, you can kind of reasonably extrapolate that there's just a lot of grass growing on this hill, and I think you more or less can at this point. Um, but the more I can work to achieve that, I feel like the better. Therefore, I shall continue to do so. But I don't want to. There's always that fear. There's always that fear when you're working on something that you're going to potentially overwork it. If you add too many things, if you futz with it too much. You don't want to futz with it too much, you know? You want to be sparing in your futzage, but you don't want to underfutz either and have it just look incomplete. But sometimes answering the question of, like, at what point does this piece look complete is really difficult. Sometimes it's just really hard to know. And as much as, like, personally, I do try very hard to kind of trust my instincts on that kind of thing. Sometimes it just really is hard to feel, yes, this is done now. But filling in the gaps, but still trying to maintain something of a semblance of a feeling of randomness as well is always an interesting line to toe. Like, how do I do this in a way that feels like it's just the random distribution of interesting plant life, whilst also making sure that, you know, that randomization feels natural, but you're having to do it in a very deliberate way is confusion. So yeah, that's where I'm at. Yay. Just gonna drop in some little grass lines here and there. Doop, doop, doop. What if I were to maybe just pop in a couple of little... just a little sprout here and there as well. Just for flavor, just to make things a little bit even more interesting. Just a couple of little sprouts. What are they sprouts of? I don't know. Fun. They're just little sprouts of fun, okay? I don't have to know more than that. I don't have to know how plants work. I'm not a botanist. Come on. I'm just a little guy out here making stuff up that I think looks cute. And if my work can spark a tiny amount of joy for like 4 to 5 people in the world, then perchance I've justified my existence, which honestly, at this point, is all I can ask for. I'm not even sure if that's asking too much, but here we are. Little sprouts here and there. Just happy little sprouts. What are they sprouting? Whomst knows? Not I. But they're certainly happy. I think it feels a bit more like a cozy meadow, at least. So if anything, that feels like a positive development. So good job, me. Okie dokie. Anyways. But yeah, how's everybody's week been? What y'all been up to? I hope you've had good times. I hope you've had the best times. I hope that, that stuff is going well for you. I hope that you've had a chance to enjoy some good snacks. If you like snacks. I like snacks very much, so... I've been having a lot of fruit snacks this week because there's been a lot of really good fruit about. I managed to get some peaches delivered. I was very happy to have peaches because I love peaches very much. So that's been really, really nice. And, what else? Trying to think if I've done anything else super interesting this week, and the answer is a resounding probably not. But I've enjoyed having some peaches. Been eating a lot of salads because that's pretty much all we've been able to countenance making. I have a fruit salad in the fridge for tonight. I made it this afternoon. I'm very excited. It's got oranges, raspberries, strawberries, pineapple, peaches, and pears. So I think it's going to be really good. I mean, fruit salad is so basic. You just take a whole bunch of fruits, you chop them up into like approximate equal sizes, you put it in a bowl that is slightly too small for the amount of fruit you've put inside it, and then you pour a little juice on it to kind of get everything to get to know each other a little bit better, and then you just stick it in the fridge for a few hours and you've got dinner. Especially if you're a little weirdo like me who's like, hey, you know what? I'm over 40. I can eat fruit salad for dinner if I want to. And you know what? I'm goddamn right. I can. And I will. Okay. Just added a little bit of black to this brown to kind of mellow it out a little bit. Because I want to add a little bit of sort of deliberate texture to the pathway before I go on to adding the flowers. And then maybe adding just a little bit of definition to the edges of the hill so it feels a little bit more cohesive. And then we can start finishing this sketchy for our next piece. Hooray! Oh my goodness, Cassie says, well, after we fix my flooded bathroom at the weekend, heck! I've just been working and drying out the bathroom. Heck! Oh, you poor thing. I'm glad to hear it got fixed anyways. But that's gotta be so annoying to deal with. I'm so sorry. Dang. Well, I'm glad it's sorted anyways. Indigo cleaned the oven and switched the light bulb. Woo, very nice. Now I can finally sit in front of the oven and watch my pizza again. Oh, exciting times. Don't we just love getting to... That kind of slow media, I feel like, is so valuable. You know, just sitting in front of the oven and watching the magic happen in real time. Or at the very least being able to see what the progress of your baked good is without continually having to, like, open the door and mucking around with the internal temperature, therefore potentially compromising the integrity of your bake. Especially if you're making something like a souffle. I love souffle, and I used to love making souffle, and I haven't made souffle in years because of the one time that I don't know how this happened. But the baking dish, the souffle, it was the most beautiful souffle, and the baking dish literally just, like, slid out of the oven and shattered onto the kitchen floor. And I never made a souffle again because that was deeply traumatic. Yay! Oh no, Cassis has got back on Friday from my week away to lots of water. Oh no, I'm so sorry. That's such a terrible end to a wonderful trip. Oh my goodness. I am very glad at least to hear that it's been sorted now, but oh, that's so, oh boo, I'm sorry. Okay, well I just spilled some coffee on myself, so that's great. Glad I'm wearing a black top. But my moderator / spouse is home, and I struggled to do the basic human task of taking a sip without getting camp coffee all down me. Because that's the kind of day it's been, because that's how hot it's been. I don't think my brain is functioning properly anymore. Anyways, hi moderator / spouse. Kobe in chat says hi, by the way. He says, hey, I'm gonna go say hi to my moderator / spouse, everybody. I'll be back in just a moment. Around them to get to the loo. So I wasn't sure where else to put them, and that felt the most out of the way. Well, I don't know, good luck finding someplace better. Hoi! So yeah, my moderator / spouse had a delivery today of a new printer. So the box is kind of taking up a lot of space. But the old one's been dead for quite a while, so it was a necessary purchase for him. And hopefully this one will be better. Hello, Gumby. Welcome in. How are you doing? Very lovely to see you. Hello, hello, hello. I hope you're having a beautiful day. Hope it's doing good for you. I hope you're having good times. Okay. So all I want to do, and I don't know if this is going to look stupid. Hopefully it's not going to look stupid. I just kind of want to pick out some little, like, patches where you might see some little rocks or something like that. Something like that. Just real subtle. Really subtle. But just to give a little extra sort of dimension and detail to this little pathway. Make it feel a little bit less like a, I don't know, large textureless surface. I mean it does have texture because it has the granulation that comes from the paint, which I do think gives a nice sort of like, this is a dirt path impression, but I kind of want to add a little bit more on top of that because it is quite light in color as well.
Did you open my package?
No, that's how it was when it got here. Yeah. Sometimes I think it just do that. I don't know. Anyways, I love you. Sorry, that was my moderator / spouse was asking me a question, and so I was answering in kind. Okay, these little stones are going to get smaller the further along we get. So by the time we get up here, they're just teeny tiny little dudes. Teeny tiny little dudes. Okay, that feels like a reasonable sort of grading as we go up of like doot size, I hope. And I hope that these look cute and good and not stupid and bad. I do think that they are going to be quite subtle. Like, these ones have kind of disappeared into the paper. So I'm going to add them back in. Is that where they were? I don't know. Anyways, it'll be fine. It'll be fine. I think it does add a little bit to it, though, so that is a good. And I want to add some little flowers sort of dotted about here as well. So, these are not going to be specific flowers that exist in nature because that is just too much work for my poor little brain, I think. I'm just gonna use some nice colors that I think will harmonize with it. So I'm gonna do just like some yellow, just yellow flowers. Happy little blossoms. And I think this is a nice sort of warm-ish yellow. It's a nice warm, it's like a sunshine yellow, you know, it's real comfy cozy. Hey, darling. I'm going to very, very carefully take another sip of my my camp coffee, which is delicious. It sounds like my fan is making some interesting noises. What is the fan doing?
I don't know, maybe it's been running constantly.
Can you switch the fan off, please? Can you just switch the fan off, please? Thank you. Sorry, the fan's been making funny noises. Anyways. I do apologize for the fan noise. I cannot be in here without one at the moment. It's too warm. It's just too warm. Anywhoosins. Shall we continue on with the yellow flower? Sorry about the technical difficulty just then. But we're okay. I'm going to just re-wet this a little bit because it was a little bit too thick, I think. That's better. Alrighty. So... but I don't want it to be so translucent that you can't see. I think I need to start at this closeness to the end with slightly more big flowers. Oh, Thunderpup says cute farmhouse. Thank you, thank you. Thank you, thank you. It is, I'm living my pipe dream of home ownership through it. Oh, and Ghost says I'm a Sammy fan and I make funny noises too sometimes. So do I. Anyway, how's it going, Thunderpup? It's very nice to see you. Welcome on in. Hello, hello. I'm just adding some happy little flowers. And when I say happy little flowers, I'm just kind of making some blob shapes. And hoping that by the time they're done, they'll look kind of like flowers. I will put some middles in the, especially the ones closer to the viewer here. And I will add some other colors of flower as well before we are done, because I think that'll be nice. Maybe some maybe actually just do some Potter's pink flowers. I think that would do nicely. Cassa says, well, Sledge must be your biggest fan. Does he make weird noises? Sometimes. But I love them. I think he makes lovely noises. He's got a very cute accent. And I'm sorry to be a real sap about him, but here we are. We are married. Anyways. Okay. So as we move a little bit further away, as we get a little bit smaller. And smaller still. But we still got him. Cool. I'm not sure what sort of flowers these are, but I figure they're just sort of the kind of little thing that just sort of hangs out on the ground, you know? Doot, doot, doot. Doot, doot. Doot, 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 doot. By the time they're up here, they're just little dots. Oh my god, those are so hard to see. Oh no. Oh no. Well, it's a good thing I'll be adding some additional, perhaps slightly deeper colors as well. Just to make sure that we've got definite visible blossomage. I think that'll do for the yellow flowers. I'll add some other flowers and then decide if I want any of the flowers to have like little middle bits, because I think that would be really cute. Obviously we've got some little poppies coming up, little red and orange poppies coming up, that the owners of this home have probably planted there themselves, that they're quite proud of. But I thought it'd be nice to have some just sort of like dotting the hills as well, to keep things a little bit more colorful, a little bit more cohesive. And also I think it would be nice to use this Potter's Pink, because that's the color I used for the sky, so it'll kind of draw things together quite nicely, I hope. I hope anyways. I say all this as if I know of whence I speak at all, and believe me when I say I don't. My formal art education largely comes from the fluff around and find out school of making artworks, which I think has worked reasonably well for me. I have learned a lot in the last few years, and I'm obviously still learning a lot as I go. I love this color so much. It's such a pretty color. I love using it. I love getting to use it. It's just nice. It's just nice. Oh, it is cute too. Oh, heavens to Betsy. When you look at these little lovely creatures. Oh my goodness. Hell yeah. Hell yeah, that's what I'm looking for. Just some real warm little flowery doots here and there. Just like that. Do we love it? Do we like it? Do we hate it? You don't have to tell me if you hate it. You can just keep that to yourself. That's totally fine. You are obviously allowed to hate it if you want to. It would be weird if everyone in the world universally liked all the same things. There are a lot of things I don't like, but I'm happy for the people that do. Very much I am. You know, again, assuming they're things like baseball and not war crimes, but again, if you assume I'm saying I'm cool with people liking war crimes, you're reading my trying to be very gentle statements in the worst faith possible, and you should stop that. Well, like, let's take mustard for instance. I don't personally enjoy the taste of mustard, but I'm very happy for people who do. It's nice seeing things bring people joy. whether that's Mustard or the TV sitcom Seinfeld or Italian opera. It's all good. I'm not a big opera person. Though if someone invited me to go out and see an opera, I'd probably be like, yeah, sure. Just for funsies. Oh, speaking of, I'm not a big fan of opera, but I do like quite a lot of like instrumental classical music. And I remember that I'd never been to like a like symphony program performance before, and I really wanted to go, and I didn't want to go by myself, so I invited a friend of mine to be my +1 to go see a performance of works by Sibelius, the Finnish composer. It was a splendid evening of music and also just some interesting like chit chat in between pieces about the music and sort of the history of it. And I had an amazing time. And afterwards I was like, so, what did you think, to my friend? And he was like, well, it was fun, but obviously the music was a little boring. And I was like, then why did you come with me? I could have invited somebody else. I could have invited someone who would enjoy the music. I don't know. Maybe they just wanted an excuse to drive to Toronto and have a nice meal. And see a show, which I guess is fair, but like, I don't know, come on. Anywho. Sorry, I'm just saying my doots out loud now, like a weirdo. Sorry. Alright, is that enough pink doots? I think that's probably enough pink doots, because I'm gonna do 1/3 color of doots. And I'm trying to decide what the third color of doots I want to do is. Do I want to try and bring in a bit of like violet, or is that going to be too far off sort of the palette of this piece, I'm wondering. And I genuinely can't decide. Lovely little flowery dude, says Gumby. Hell yeah, thank you. Alright, it is sip time. Delicious. Okie dokie. Alright, well, let's take a look at this. I feel like just given the overall vibe of the piece is very much kind of in like this family of colors, this one over here. And so I feel like doing a flower that's like this color might be a little bit, I don't know, inharmonious compared to the other colors that we've got going on here. So to that end, I'm wondering if maybe I should do a little like red flower or orange flower, and so maybe orange. Because there are orange poppies in this like poppy patch, but they kind of don't stand out as being distinctly orange. So maybe if I add some little orange flowers in here, that'll do. Because I was thinking like, did I want to bring in a blue or did I want to bring in a violet? And I think they're a little bit too cool. I think they're just a little bit too cool. So I think I'm going to not for this. Which is really going against all of my instincts. Because my favorite colors tend to be in sort of the cool color palette of like blues and violets, and like, this is getting a little bit warm for me. And yet, here we are. I decided to do this piece. It's very kind of things adjacent to yellow, you know? Why? And yet, interestingly, there isn't actually a lot of, you know, like this gets it towards sort of like orangey reds. We've got a lot of green going on. But there isn't really a lot of just yellow in it. It's just things sort of like it's just sort of like yellow's neighbors are having a party, and yellow is kind of sitting in their house being like, man, I wish these guys would keep it down. It's past 11 p.m. on a Saturday night, and I gotta get up to go to yellow church tomorrow. I don't want to miss out on that free breakfast. Anyways, I don't know. Anywho, As someone who did not grow up a church-going individual and does not do such things as an adult, I cannot imagine not having a lie-in on Sunday mornings. That is my time to not be awake until lunch. Yeah, anyways. So obviously some people just like being up in the mornings. Some people like being social in the mornings. Or ever. Couldn't be me. No, I do like being social from time to time, but in small spurts, you know. In little spurts. Ooh! That's real cute, though. Okay, yeah. Okay, yeah, loving the orange doots, actually. The orange doots, I think, will hopefully tie things together real nicely. Perhaps. And I like these flowers because they don't really need to be, like, a very specific shape. They're just kind of little blobs. But I think in context you get the idea that these are flowers. And that's kind of all that they really need to be. I've quite liked doing when I've done, when I've done, like, little daisies on artworks, and I've literally just taken my masking fluid and just popped a whole bunch of, like, blobs on the canvas, painted it over with grass, and then just peeled off all of the little blobs and put little yellow dots in the center and been like, ta-da, these are fried eggs! But it works really well for, like, a shorthand for a field full of daisies, and I think it looks really cute. But yeah. Cassa says, I also did not grow up in a church-going family and greatly resented being dragged to Easter midnight mass once in Ireland. Midnight? Oh my god, it was March. It was dark and cold and I had no idea what was happening. That sounds so weird. If that's not something that you just do, that would be so confusing. I very much understand why you would be confused and resentful by, like, okay, everybody, wake up, we have to go out. Obviously, if that's something where, like, culturally that's just what you do, you know to be ready to go do that, but if you're not, that would be really, really confusing. I remember once, okay, so this is again me being not a religious individual. I was not raised religious, and I am not as an adult either. But one time, speaking of attending musical events as a +1, I once went to, it was a musical, like, Christmas Carol sing-along, at Manchester Cathedral. I'd never been in Manchester Cathedral before. I can't remember if I don't know if it's just because it's, like, why would I go there? I used to live in Manchester, by the way. I'd never been there. I can't remember if it's because normally, like, if you're just wandering around, you have to pay to get in, or it was just because it wasn't of interest to me. I don't remember. But, you know, architecturally, I wanted to check it out because, like, I like a good bit of, like, cool, like, cathedral-y architecture. I love, like, the acoustics of spaces like that for music, I think, are fantastic. So I was really excited and looking forward to this. And then it was just, like, I don't know why it didn't occur to me that this was going to be a sing-along of all the boring religious Christmas carols that I don't like. But it was. But the best bit of so that was weird because I did not expect it to be, despite the fact that it was in a cathedral. I don't know what I was expecting. It was a much more religiously based Christmas experience than I ever have in my life. So I felt very like I didn't belong, as someone who is not a member of this church. But the best bit, my favorite bit, and this was so much fun, was there was this one, like, little old dude standing or sitting directly behind where my friend and I were, who was singing every single song so loudly and with his entire heart, like, right into my ear. And I would have resented it if it wasn't so funny and honestly kind of really cute. Because it's probably the only opportunity this man gets to sing songs. And he was clearly super into it. I was like, you know what? Good for you. That's what this event is about. And I love that for you, buddy. Don't ever let anyone shame you for being into stuff. It was at a school/monastery run by monks, so it was peak Irish Catholicism. I'm so used to thinking of monks in, like, the medieval context that sometimes I forget that there are just monks that exist. There are monks in my town. Sometimes I will see them walking about in their, like, robes and stuff and be like, oh yeah, you guys are here. Okay, cool. I wonder if those outfits are comfy. But yeah. That is peak Irish Catholicism, indeed. Anyways, but yeah, I'm going to take another sip at. This is the last of this carton of oat milk, and I'm so sad to see it go because I forgot to put another one in the fridge. Oh no. Well, with that being said, I feel like this painting is getting dangerously close to being done, y'all. I'm gonna have to figure out something else to I'm gonna have to figure out what we're doing for the latter half of the stream. But actually, that's okay. I think I know. I think we'll finish getting sort of the abstract, vague sketch done for the, I'm just gonna put some little, like, center doots in the flowers that are closest to the foreground. Because, I think it just really cements the idea that these are flowers, basically. Oh, I see. Cassie says, my cousin's godfather is a monk, and it was my cousin's teenage baptism. Oh, I see. Wowzers. I bet that was an interesting experience. It certainly sounds like. Okie dokie. There we go. Okay. I can't really, for the flowers, when we get closer to sort of the background here, it gets a little bit more difficult to add little middle bits in a meaningful way because, like, I don't want the middles to be the same size as the flowers. That's a little too big of a middle, you know? But, so my brush is going a little bit bad. I don't know. I'm finding I'm struggling a little bit more lately to get this brush to really hold a good point. I think, I don't know, maybe it's just, I don't think it's reaching the end of its life or anything. I haven't had it for that long, but I think it's definitely reaching it's getting harder to get a really good point on the end of it. It keeps wanting to kind of fork off into two prongs, which is very unhelpful for me. Anyways, many distractions, a 20 stream steak. Oh my goodness, please enjoy your delicious, delicious 20 steaks. Don't eat them all at once, but thank you so much for stopping by, and I hope you're having a beautiful Thursday. I almost said Monday. That's not the day that this stream is. That's how heat damaged my brain is, though. Oh my goodness. This is one of those colors, by the way. This is Mars Black, and my experience with Mars Black is that as far as black goes, it's gray. It's very much a gray black. I really like the way that Mars Black looks, but it is not the most intensely pigmented gray. Though what I will say about it is, okay, so this is my other palette that I'm hoping to maybe bust out maybe after the BRB. Which is, as you can see, a much cooler palette, but this black is blended with this turquoise, and it has turned it into the coolest, like, super dark green color. It's such a cool color, and I can't wait to work with it. I'm so excited. I'm very excited to try that palette. I think it's going to be really, really fun. I'm so excited to try this palette, but in a more sort of, like, blue, purple, pink focused painting. I think that's going to be really interesting to see how these paints impact in that direction, I think will be quite cool. I'm just gonna use this Mars Black color for all of the center doots on these flowers because I think it's gonna show up the best. I think if I tried to put like yellow centers or something on these, it would look insufficient visibility, and that kind of defeats the purpose. So everybody's getting the dark doots. Maybe these are poppies, maybe these are in the daisy family, I don't know. Maybe these are just fantasy flowers that exist in a fantasy land. A magic kingdom of the mind where I can afford to own a home. Oh, wouldn't that be nice? Anyways, my shop updated a few weeks ago. If you wanted anything cool. I'm already trying to plan ahead for, like, spooky season. I'm usually really bad at pre-gaming, like, holidays and stuff. Just because, I just have a hard time getting into the mindset of a time of year that's going to be months away. And as much as, like, I want it to be Halloween now, I'm also very bad at summoning the Halloween spirit, like, inside my mind when it's a gazillion degrees out. I'm just really struggling to do it. I tend to want to work seasonally, but in as much as it's summertime, so I want to paint something for summer, and not so much it's summertime, so I need to be planning ahead for the Halloween sales cycle, you know what I mean? But I do have a stupid little design in mind for something that I might be doing for Halloween. And I shall attempt to, it's in my Instagram story, so I'll attempt to share it here. Hopefully this will show up. There it is. It's just a little guy. I'm thinking of doing a little werewolf sticker, because I've got a little vampire bat sticker, and I'm just like, what if I gave him a friend? What if I gave him a little boyfriend? So here he is. He's very nervous, he's very tired, and he's very much trying his best. And this is obviously just a sketch I did on a piece of, like, notebook paper while I was in a meeting. But listen, doodling is how I pay attention, okay? It's the way I show up. If I am staring into your eyes and smiling and nodding, all I'm thinking about is whether or not I look enough like I'm paying attention, and I'm not actually paying attention. So, you know what? If you want me to be engaged as a member of the conversation, you're going to have to accept there's going to be little squiggles of lighthouses and werewolves all over my notes. That's just the way it is always going to be with this weirdo's little brain. Okay. So, gonna drop some nice, subtle line weight onto the hills. I don't want it to be super potent, but I do want it to be a presence. Just to give a little definition to our landscape and to make it feel like we are indeed looking at some hills, and then there's another hill behind that hill, you know? So that's that. Trying to work around any little blades of grass or what have you that are poking up over the hill. We've got our little tree here with our little swing. There we go. Okay. So I already feel like that's a little bit more together, I guess. Gonna do the same thing for this one up top, which just feels a little bit messy. So just gonna give it a nice, subtle but slightly cleaner line. And hope that that makes it look good. I don't know. I can't believe I went from, like, for years, I hated doing paintings as backgrounds. I would make my backgrounds just as, like, abstract and basic as I can get away with because I just did not enjoy doing them. They were just kind of a necessary but annoying step between me and getting to draw people and characters, which is what I really wanted to be doing. And now I draw pictures that are mostly just what would be a background. And I don't really draw people quite as much. I obviously still do draw people. But I don't draw people as much. Do I miss it? No. I love getting to do backgrounds. That is growth, my friends. That's not to say that you have to learn to do backgrounds or want to do backgrounds. You don't have to do anything as an artist. There are a lot of artists who are, like, amazing at what they do, but, you know, never do backgrounds. Or other artists who only do backgrounds, and, you know, people who do, like, you know, sort of landscapey type scenes like this, but really hate doing or never do or don't feel that they're very strong or good at doing, like, character designs or portraits. And I feel like these days I'm probably, I don't know, I feel like, I don't want to say I'm good at, but I feel like I'm at least mediocre at character designs and backgroundy stuff. Which is kind of good. Instead of niching down and being super, super good at one specific thing, I think I'd get bored if I tried to do that, so it feels nicer to me to apply my skills a little bit more broadly. It keeps me interested. And, you know, if I'm not interested enough, I'm gonna stop doing it. I'm just gonna stop doing it. Art Rex says you're great at it all. Art Rex, thank you. Also, hi Rex, how are you doing? It is very, very good to see you. Welcome on in. Hello, hello. I'm terrible at signing my name, that's for sure. It looks different every time, and it's always super messy, and I never give myself enough space for my surname to fit. But here we are. I'm calling it there on this piece. The stream is not over, but this piece is over. And I hope that you like it. I have enjoyed working on it, that is for sure. I'm gonna extricate this from the block that it's on so I can be a little bit more free with sketching, the sketching of it. Because it's currently attached to its I literally just use the sort of wedge-shaped end of this paintbrush. This is my masking fluid brush. It's not focusing. The wedge-shaped end of my masking fluid brush is what I use to separate watercolor paper off of the block. Because why? Because you want something that's going to be sort of thin enough that it's going to fit in between the two pieces of paper and not cause problems in that way. But also and at this point you can kind of just lift and peel at this point. So I just lift and peel. But yeah, you want something that's got like a enough of an edge that you can sort of like slide it between the two sheets and not have them like bend and tear or anything from the width of it. But also you don't want to use something super sharp like an X-Acto knife, because that in turn can accidentally get sort of up in between layers of paper and actually tear your paper that way as well, because it's too sharp. But yeah, this is this piece. I'm pretty darn happy with it in the end. This was, for anyone who wasn't here for the entirety of the piece, this was a piece where I had a lot of indecision, insecurity, uncertainty around it. And I know it's in the end it's fairly straightforward. There's not really a lot going on here. It's a fairly simple piece, and it still took 4 streams to complete, or at least 3.5 streams to complete, which is kind of wild to me. But here we are. But yeah, this is one of those ones where like the entire time I did a sketch and I was like, this sketch is cute and I like it, and then I started painting it and I was like, oh no, this looks real bad. And we kind of had to go through a lot of the stages of producing a painting to get from is this just going to look bad, to, oh, okay, actually, no, trusting the process was the right move, this is coming together, and it's starting to look okay, to, actually, I think this looks pretty decent, and I think I did an okay job. Just to kind of bring you in a little bit, so we've got these little flowers in the foreground here in the path. We wander up the path here to the house. They've got a little vegetable patch. They've got some little wild flowers growing outside their house. They've got a lovely little house with some of the front rooms have the windows on, or the lights on in the windows, rather. All of the windows are attached to the house. Obviously, they've got a little fireplace going here, and there's some laundry hanging out that's recently been washed, and there's also a little swing on the tree here in case someone wants to swing for funsies. And yeah, there's some wooded hills off in the background as well. Is it amazing? No, but is it cute? I hope it's cute. I had fun working on it. And as always, a lot of these things are kind of, semi-improvisational, just working things out. In this case, I was testing a new palette of paints. So here we are. I'm going to do a super quick BRB to set up working on our next piece, which is this one. So I'll be back in like a minute. And yeah, thanks for hanging out through the BRB screen. Take this opportunity to do a little stretch or hydrate yourself if it's hot, especially if it's hot where you are. Please, please, please do hydrate. I'll be back in a moment. And yeah, you're all breathtaking. Hello! I'm back. Hello, everybody. Say goodbye to the BRB song. And hello to me. Hi, everybody. It's good to be back. I am back with fresh paints to swap out. Now that we finished this piece, we can start on our next one, which is very, very exciting. It was just a good hour too early to end stream, so we're gonna work on another painting instead. I do also have hand cream because I did some kitchen stuff whilst I was on BRB there because I've got a fruit salad in the fridge, and I want to just give everything a stir to make sure that all of the different fruits are getting to know each other. Hello, Aoife. Welcome in. How are you doing? It's lovely to see you. I come in and immediately emotional AF, says Aoife. I do love this song. Oh, thank you, thank you. I'm glad that the BRB song hits appropriately. That is nice to know. This isn't strictly hand cream, by the way, but it is very good cream in general. They do a version that is specifically for hands that I bought out of necessity when I was in Canada because I wasn't able to bring hand cream with me on my holiday. And I was just like, oh, I'll just pick something up from the airport. The airport had no good hand cream. How does the airport have no good hand cream? There was like a Boots and everything, but they had no good hand cream. So I ended up having to go to Shoppers Drug Mart on like my first day of my holiday and be like, and I got the hand version of this and I liked it so much that I tried to buy some more of it here, and everywhere is out of stock of the hand version, so I had to get just like the regular goes everywhere cream, but it's also very, very good. I am not sponsored, but if La Roche-Posay wanted to sponsor stream, I would for sure I would for sure endorse the hand cream. Anyways, goodbye to the BRB dong, says Many Distractions. I'm not sure if that's what you meant to put, but you know what? I'm going to assume that it is. I do like the BRB dong. It is a good dong. Anyways. Indigo says, did my terrible drawing time vanish? What? What? Did you do a terrible drawing time redeem? I didn't see it. Let me check my reward queue. Okay, I can see a terrible drawing time request. But I don't see it in chat. Which is genuinely hecking strange. But I do have the request in my, like, mod panel. So let me just quickly... I will put it into chat, and I will do it. I can't see it and my points are gone, lol. I will be doing your terrible drawing time redeem. Don't you worry. I would I would not deprive you of that ever. I'm just gonna pop the I'm just copy pasting the text into chat so you can see what Indigo has requested. And I have some ideas, and I don't know how I'm gonna do them. But yes, terrible drawing time of Smalliv and Dolliv. And I have questions, but I think I know what I want to do for it. So let me grab the terrible drawing canvas. Let me move this out of the way, and allow me to explain for anyone who is unfamiliar with the concept. Terrible drawing time is a phenomenon on this stream where for 5,000 channel points, I've got 5 minutes or less to draw a character or concept of your choosing from memory or sight unseen on a terrible drawing canvas. Every once in a while, I remember to put these on the terrible drawing time Discord, but not very often. And I do apologize. But I'm trying my best, and I am just a little creature. Anyways, I'm swapping out my paints while I'm here because I want to put these away before we start the next thing. I don't have a good storage case for these right now, so they kind of just live in a box. They just live inside a box. And that's gonna have to be okay. The box also contains my duochrome watercolors, which I haven't had a chance to paint yet, and I really want to, so, it's gonna be like an underwater scene for those, like a mermaidy situation, because I think that would work really well with those colors. These colors are freaking crazy. This is orange, and this is yellow. I promise it is. Anyways, just gonna scooch these out of the way. Oh, and that's purple. And brown. And black. Okay. So, terrible drawing time of Smalliv and Dolliv. I have no idea where that went in the chat, but we are going to do that for Indigo now. So, I've got my very teeny tiny pencil, and I'm going to find where my clock app is. That is my actual clock and not like TikTok. Oh, and you can see the earliest alarm I have in my phone. That's the name of it. Oh, hi. You can see my reflection as well. Hello, everybody. Hello, hello. Yes, it says piss off, I'm sleepy. That's because I do not want to be up that early. Anyway, Smalliv and Dolliv. I'm going to guess that these are Pokemon. I'm not sure. I've got 5 minutes on the clock to draw them anyways. And I'm going to try my best. So what I'm thinking is they sound like olives. So I'm going to draw a small olive, and then I'm going to draw like some sort of cutesy looking olive. Aoife says that there was a funny thing happening in Austria, or I think it's funny, but as always when I think something is funny, chances are I will tell it several times. So sorry if I repeat myself. They caught a priest in Austria cooking crystal meth. Yes, found a meth lab on church grounds, but apparently the Austrian church, before it was officially known what happened, tried hard not to say what happened while still stressing it was not. Well, listen, at least it wasn't anything sexual. Reflection, I knew it. You were Mr. Hangman. Oh, beans. Anyways, I'm gonna draw some little olive characters. So first of all, we have Smalliv, who I'm getting from the name is a small olive, so I'm literally just gonna draw a little olive looking character. They're gonna be one of those ones that has like it's like stuffed, because I feel like those are the most sort of iconic looking olives. And it's just a small olive. So it's got small right in the name. So I feel like it needs to have a small kind of vibe. I'm just going to shade it in a little bit. Just so you know that it's, you know, olive colored. Kind of give it a feel of, a little shading to give it a feel of roundness. But that's small olive. And then we also have D'olive, which is a very different vibe to me. And so here's what I'm going to do for D'olive. And I don't know if I'm going to be able to pull this off. I don't know if I'm going to be able to pull this off, but I'm going to try. Okay. What were you asked to draw, says Mr. Hangman? Smoliv and D'olive. Some Pokemon, apparently. So, for Smoliv and D'olive. So for D'olive, what I'm getting more than anything is more of like a kind of. My brain just went Dolly Parton for D'olive. And so that's what I'm going to attempt to do here. So, it's still a little olive, but it's a little olive. Who's real pretty and also has the voice of an angel. So, there you go. How am I going to draw? Kind of like... Aww. Aw, ain't she cute? But she's also going to be wearing sort of like little country girl dungarees. And how am I going to give her a guitar? She's so tiny. For D'olive, I just imagine an olive in a suit, like a dapper olive. Oh, that would have been good too. Oh, dang. I'm going to make this sort of like a gingham check pattern, and obviously it's pink. Oh my goodness, she's so stinking cute. Okay, so I'm going to give her... She's got like a little arm sticking out here, and she is holding her guitar. Just so you know, she is indeed also a talented songstress. Oh, dang, she's cute. I love her. This is so stupid. I'm sorry. There's 5 seconds left, but I don't think there's any improving on perfection. Here is, if it will focus on them. Shut up, time. I said shut up, timer. Why is it not stopping? Okay, there we go. Smoliv, who is just a small olive, and then D'olive, who is Dolly Parton, if Dolly Parton was an olive. And I love her. She is the queen of country. Indigo says perfect. Many distractions says so friend-shaped. Thank you. I'm going to... Okay, so just to see. I got to know what Smoliv and D'olive actually look like. So let's go. Show me pictures of Smoliv and D'olive. Oh, I see. So D'olive is like the second iteration of the Smoliv evolution line. Is that correct? Because I've got a picture here, and it is indeed okay. Well, I feel very proud of one thing, and I will show you in just a second. So okay, here are my takes on Smoliv, the small olive, and D'olive, Dolly Parton the olive. And here's actual Smoliv and D'olive and whatever the third one is. I feel very proud for guessing that the name comes from small olive, because that is a small olive. It's looking a lot more stressed than mine, but you can definitely see that it is like an olive-based Pokemon. Especially, I think in the second one it's a little bit more abstract, but the third one is just straight up like an olive tree dryad, which is quite cool, and I really like the design of this evolution line a lot, actually. Especially the third one. They are very cool. So So that was terrible drawing time. Indigo, thank you for letting me know about the redemption. I don't know why it didn't show up in chat, but I really do hope that you're happy. That was very fun to do. Thank you. The Smoliv just looks like Badu. Oh, that's another one that I don't know, and I'm not going to look up just in case someone ever requests it. I want to be able to do it sight unseen, because that is heckin' fun when I'm able to do the Pokemons and other characters sight unseen. I enjoy it. Smoliv is very existential. He looks so stressed, but honestly, if I was but a small olive, I would probably be stressed too. You know? It's hard being small in a big world. It really is. Oh, excuse me. Anyways, Aoife says, so when I was 12-ish, I tattooed Natty for Natalie on my ankle because I thought that might get me a girlfriend. Oh, goodness. When I was 14, I changed Natty to Native Evil 666. Later in my 20s, I made, Native Leo Evilo, Native Olive Oil, okay. With 3 black olives from the 6s. I mean... that certainly goes to show that if you get yourself a tattoo and you're like, I'm not feeling this, you can fix it later. Anyways. Also, olive oil is delicious. I don't like to eat olives, but I absolutely love olive oil. Like, good olive oil. You know, when it's like a good quality olive oil for, like, snacking? So nice. These are not olive oils I buy for myself very often because, olive oil in general is very expensive right now. Like, I used to be able to get a bottle of my olive oil of choice for like £2 from Tesco. It's now $4.50. It's gone up by over twice as much in the last, like, I don't know, maybe 2 years. It's crazy how expensive olive oil is here now. I hate it. But I understand it's not just a British phenomenon in this case, because I spoke to my mother about it and she was saying that that it's that they struggle to get olive oil that is not prohibitively expensive these days as well. So, yeah. Anyways. Yeah, olive oil is just spelled backwards, says Eva. That's what I figured. Because that was the best I could come up with. Hey, you know what? Olive oil's delicious. So, love that for you. Good slurp, says Indigo. This is kind of the color of a good olive oil, I think. My mom has all the names of her kids tattooed, says Aoife, and mine was spelled wrong on purpose because it fit better. Oh, wow. Oh, wow. Wow. It's a choice. Anyways. Yeah, so before we actually start painting this, I do need to finish sketching it, but this is the colors we'll be working with in this piece. I'm really excited to use these colors in this piece. I think that, like, this sort of, like, browny, reddy color, and, this, like, greenish black, and this sort of dirty brown. I think these are going to work really well for sort of the different shadows and gradations of the rock formations in this gorge. But then we've also got some nice, like, greenery colors, and then obviously for the actual, like, water in the swimming hole, we've got this is going to work really well, and probably a little bit of that mixed in places. I think it's going to be really nice. I hope it'll be nice. I think it's going to be nice. But I need to finish the sketch first. Because I did rough in some details of the surrounding area, but I just want to get some of the rock textures a little bit more defined. I do have some reference pictures, just a bunch of things I ganked off of Google image search of sort of mostly like gorges and waterfalls and swimming holes and the like in Japan. And I think those will be really helpful. So, yeah. Anyways, I always order it directly from the producers, to be honest, says Aoife. It's not much cheaper, I think, but you get the best quality for mid-quality prices. You know what? I like a good mid-quality price. Hell yeah. Then they often give you 20% off and stuff, so you consume a lot of olive oil. It's well worth it. For sure, for sure. I don't think I get through enough olive oil in my life to justify buying it in that way rather than just going to like the shop. Cause I'd say I get through maybe like one bottle a month. I don't even know how many grams are in the bottles of olive oil that I buy, but it's not a very big bottle. It's like one of them. It's sort of one of those like tall, skinny bottles kind of thing. So it's not a big boy, and it is only £4.50. Which still, I hate saying only £4.50 because it used to be £2, and it wasn't that long ago. And boy howdy, have my salaries not gone up that much in the last couple of years. I just feel like I'm being squeezed to death. It hurts really bad. Anyways, I'm gonna take a sip of my tea. Even ananas juice is cheaper. No! Ananas, cover your ears. We will never juice you, I promise. No, he says in French. Je ne suis pas jus. Je suis un ananas. Je suis un homme libre. Anyways. I order like 12 liters once a year, but I give some of that away, says Aoife. Fair enough. That's probably is a much more economical way of doing it. And in the long run, probably also easier. So, yeah, I love that for you. Anyways. I try not to... every once in a while there are things that I will stockpile in that way, but I try not to do it too much because it, I do not have the storage space to do that with more things. I do that with too many things already. Oh, no. Anyways. Yeah. So, I need to think about how am I going to represent the greenery in this piece? I think is an important question, and my answer to that question is a resounding, I genuinely don't know. But yeah, we'll figure it out. I would love to just go swimming under a waterfall in a beautiful, secluded, gorgeous location somewhere in the mountains of Japan, but I'm just not that kind of person, so I have to live vicariously through the characters I paint with a lot of these pieces in like enchanted forests with nature and stuff, because I love the idea of all of these things, but ultimately I am very much a city creature at heart. I am much more comfortable in like urban environments in general, I think. Partially just because just because I have a lot of sensitivities. So, like, the feeling of dirt on my skin, ugh, no. The feeling of, like, sweat on my skin, ugh. Bugs, the sound of bugs, the presence of bugs everywhere, no. I have a very low threshold for all of these things. So, like, a somewhat woodsy park in a town is usually good enough for me. That's close enough, really. And there are places where I can access that, so yeah, that'll do me. But I like to be able to imagine being able to go places and do things like this. Being able to do groceries is pretty rad, says Indigo. For sure. I love groceries. Alright. How do I do this? I don't know, but I'm gonna try my best. I don't know where I'm going, but I'm trying my best. I am dooting back and forth between a whole bunch of, like, reference images and stuff to try and figure out how to best achieve this. Like, how much of this rock do I want to define? How much of it do I want to be, like, have how strong do I want like the shapes and textures and things to be? Because if you look at these rocks, there's so many tiny little cracks and crevices, and there's no way I could or should
Attention,
do all of them.
Sammy Kelch.
shoppers.
Hello, thank you so much for the raid. Welcome in, everybody. Hello, hello, hello. Welcome, welcome, welcome. How was your stream? It is lovely to see you. Welcome on in. Let me get a shout out for you, Boss Butts. What were you up to today? How was your stream? What were you doing today? It's lovely to see you, everyone. The world's smallest pencil, says Crudy89. Truly it is. Also, hi, welcome in. How are you doing? It's lovely to see you. And I hope you're having a good Thursday. This pencil is hanging on by a thread. But I'm happy it's still here. I do have a reserve pencil for when it does eventually get too small to use, but I'm gonna keep using it because I don't like making waste. Anyways, but also I know this one is good, so I want to keep using it. Possibut says a little difficult. Beans. Beans. I hope everything is all right. But yeah, what'd you get up to today? I hope it was a good time. And it's very nice to see you. For anyone who's new here, hi, welcome in. My name is Twitcheezer Sammy Kelch. I'm a variety streamer. I do cozy art streams on Mondays and Thursdays. I do cozy game streams on Fridays and every once in a while on a Sunday as well. We finished this piece a little bit earlier into the stream, so I'm just doing a little bit of sketching now to complete the sketch for this next piece, which is going to be a little waterfall swam scene. And this is a piece we did in with testing out a new custom watercolor palette and seeing what kind of color schemes I can make with the harmonious colors therein. But yeah, this is the kind of thing I tend to get up to in here. I am a traditional artist. I work primarily in watercolors and other similar wet media, and we paint a lot of whimsy here. I would say it's a pretty whimsical environment. Here's one we did a little while ago, and it's some Victorian lady hamsters riding a bicycle together. So that's the vibe, anyways. Yeah, if it gets small enough, we can use it in Hollow Knight. This is true. Oh my god, can you... Oh, I want a little Metroidvania game of a little guy wielding just the tiniest stub of a pencil as their sword. I would love to see it. I would truly love to see it. That would be heckin' adorable. Yeah, also, Boss Butts, if you are still here, if there is any artwork or anything like that you would like to share with us, you can feel free to whisper me a link and I would love to share it with the chat as well. Obviously, no pressure, but if you would like to, that is something that we like to do here. Let me also get another shout out in the chat for you. Also, Curbs, hello, that scenery, it looks like it smells like Lucky Charms. Oh my goodness, I wish it did. I wish it did. Imagine if these were just little marshmallows. Listen, we don't get marshmallow cereal very often here. I live in the UK, and the cereals are generally a little bit more sensible, which is very sad. But I do miss, not that I ate marshmallow cereals that much when I lived in Canada, which is where I'm from, as you can tell by my accent. I was mistaken for American yesterday and it was really embarrassing. I don't know, maybe my accent is migrating the longer I live out of the country. I don't know. Anyways. But yeah, thank you very much for saying so, Curbs. I miss cereal marshmallows. Cereal marshmallows are just like the good texture. They hit super good. Boss is an amazing artist, says Crudy. Let me get another shout out for them in the chat, because I can do 2 different shout outs. There we go. Alright, in any case, if you're not following Boss of Butts, you can go do that there. And thank you very much again for the raid. I really, really appreciate it. Thank you. Boss says, that's very cool. Unfortunately, I haven't updated my pages in a long time, so I don't have much to link. That's okay, too. I'm more than happy to shout out your channel. And, again, if you're not following Boss, you can go do that right there. And I encourage you to do so. And I thank you so very much for the raid. I really appreciate it. Tis a quiet place, but we have fun here. Anywho, I'm just put off by how hard the marshmallows are, says Indigo. See, I like the way that they crunch. I find that to be a good texture. 2 different shout-outs. Twitch, that's Twitch illegal. No, it isn't. It's I have the chatbot shout-out, and I have the, like, Twitch integrated shout-out. And I like using both, because I want to give lots of love to anyone who is kind enough to entrust me with their lovely community. Be gay, do Twitch crimes. Hell yeah. Oh, Eva says, did I tell you of the 2 Canadian tourists I saw on the tram in Vienna? You did not. Do go on. Kerp says, I honestly don't like crunchy marshmallows either, but I like their smell. They do have a very delicious smell as well. I do really like the crunchy texture. I don't know, I find it nice. But every once in a while you can find this one weird, like, off-brand Lucky Charms cereal that's like... What is it? Oh, it's Marshmallow Mateys. And that just... I posted a photo. So I bought a box from Sainsbury's once, and I posted a photo to Tesco. Not to Tesco. I posted a photo to Twitter after finding it in the supermarket. And I just posted it with the caption, "Our flag means death." Because they're Marshmallow Mateys. Anyways, but I do love Chucky Larms, says Kerps. Yes, absolutely. Oh, Mr. Hangman says, I don't want to be gay, though. But if I have no choice, though, I guess. I mean, I recommend it, but it is not compulsory. It is not compulsory at all. All sexualities are welcome here. Mr. Hangman says, I almost exclusively get off-brand cereals, like 50% cheaper and almost exactly the same every time. I love a supermarket own brand, like Cornflake, Rice Krispie, Cocoa Pops situation. We do get Cocoa Pops here in the UK. I have never bought the name brand ones because the supermarket own brand Choco Pops are like £1 and they're delicious. And you know, when you're 40, you can just buy Choco Pops and eat them for dinner if you want to, and I have been known to do that. Thank goodness for lactose-free milk. Anyways, Aoife says they were aggressively making sure everybody knew they were Canadian. Every visible bag or piece of clothing featured either a maple leaf, the Canadian flag, or just the word Canada in a huge letter. I was immensely amused by them. I think a lot of Canadians who are traveling abroad, we do have that sort of like, are people going to mistake us for American thing? I do feel that way in French-speaking countries as well. Like, you know, here I am standing around speaking English with my partner. I go up to the counter. I order our coffees en français because I come from a bilingual nation, which is Canada, where I learned to speak French. And I also speak French with un petit peu d'un Canadian accent. Which I don't know. I don't know how other French-speaking countries feel about Canadian French. I think it's great. Is my Canadian French extremely rusty because I haven't lived there in over 10 years? Why? But never mind. But yeah, I usually eat cereals as a snack just dry, says Mr. Hangman. Yes, absolutely. I don't like when you add any kind of milk, be it plant-based or not. Oh, is it just because it gets soft? Yeah, I like a crunch of cereal. I used to just take little like Tupperware pots of dry, like Special K was a favorite, or Cheerios, just to have as a snack when I was out and about if I was going to the office or when I was a student when I'd go to lectures, and that was great. But these days I when I eat it at home, it's like 50-50 whether I'll have it as like a milk bowl, so I'm making a soup, or I'm just having it as a dry snack. It really depends. Anyways, Special K is nice, but it's so expensive, says Mr. Hangman. I can never justify it. They don't have the good Special K here in the UK, so I buy it like once every 18 months or so when I can go to a Canadian supermarket because I'm visiting my family, and I consider that a luxury. I'll get like off-brand Cheerios. They don't even have plain Cheerios in this country, Mr. Hangman. Their idea of plain Cheerios are like the sugar-coated multigrain ones. That's not plain Cheerios. That's nonsense. I have spicy opinions about cereals. And I much prefer Sometimes I just want a snack that is like a, not savory exactly, but not a sweet cereal. So not one of like the sugar-coated ones. And it is surprisingly hard to find those here. A lot of the cereals, even if they're like the healthy cereals, I find are quite sweet. Like, either that or they're things that you wouldn't just want to eat dry as a snack, like shredded wheat, which is the ingredients are just wheat. But shredded wheat dries your mouth out so much that you cannot eat just like a shredded wheat cake as a snack. Absolutely not. Like, forget it. You should make your own granola, says Kerps, with roasted coconut and almonds. Oh, I love homemade granola. I used to make homemade granola all the time, and it was so good. I would go to the bulk section in the this one Whole Foods store in London where they had different. Vasa, thank you so much for the follow. Thank you, much appreciated indeed. But yeah, I used to go to this one health food store in London, and they had like you could buy in bulk quantities of oats, spelt flakes, rye flakes, quinoa flakes, and I do a blend of these different grain flakes along with dried cherries, a tiny bit of cinnamon, a little coconut oil to hold it together, and maple syrup, and I would make this into a granola, and it was so good. It was so good, but it's just effortful enough that I don't do it very often. But when I do, I have a really good time. Anyways, Vasa, thank you once again for the raid. Have a lovely sleep, and thank you so much for hanging out as well. I hope you have a wonderful evening. Thank you, and good night. Garb says leave! I don't know what time zone you're in, but if it's sleepy time, yeah, I hope you have a good night's sleep. Do they have oats in the UK? Oh, we love oats here in the UK, Carps. We love them so much. Porridge is a very popular cereal choice, I would say, like hot porridge as well as muesli kind of thing. Granola, there's a lot of granolas here. Some very good granolas. Some very not good granolas as well. It's kind of a mixed bag. You've got to find the one that you like. Personally, oh my gosh, he's in Australia. Oh my gosh, it's so late in Australia. That's a very late night. Oh my goodness. Absolutely. If I was in Australia right now, I would be asleep. I actually have I do have some friends in Australia. I know some Australian folks. And one folk who I know who's in Australia right now. It is very cold where she lives, or cold for the area, because obviously it's winter time. And she posted a photo, and she's wearing like her puffy coat, and she's got this really cute hat on, and she looks all wrapped up and cozy on her way somewhere to catch a tram. And I messaged her and I was like, it's 29 degrees in Oxford right now, would you like to trade? And she was like, yes please. If only. Oh well. Anyways, if I had infinity money, maybe this is the time of year that I'd be going to Australia, because I like getting to wear things like cardigans and not being sweaty. Mr. Hangman says, personally, I can eat plain oatmeal, no sugar or fruit, anything, and still find it sweet, while everyone else I know finds it bitter. Oh, wow. No, I agree. I'm with you, Mr. Hangman. I find just unadorned oatmeal does have a natural sweetness for me as well. I really like a fairly, what I do with my oatmeal kind of depends on my mood, but usually I like a fairly simple preparation for my oats anyways. I've been known to, I like the flavor of oats so much that I have cooked oats in oat milk for maximum oat effect. I really like that. I like my oatmeal to be as thick as possible. It should be thick enough to stand on. And I like a little bit of cinnamon. Sometimes I will add some ground flaxseed to it, because I like the nutty flavor it gives it, and also I'm aware of the fact that there's a lot of healthy ingredients, not ingredients, but healthy sort of fats and other nutrients in ground flaxseed, so I like to get it in there sometimes as well, and it just tastes really good. And sometimes I'll either add a bit of dried fruit or a little bit of maple syrup if I'm feeling fancy. But that's about it. You know, there's a restaurant, there's a local restaurant sort of like chain in Copenhagen that does like fancy oatmeal, and I'm so tempted to go, but on the other hand, I like my oatmeal real simple, so I'm like, am I gonna find all of these really pushing the boat out for like a bowl of porridge? I don't know. Also, I'm gonna be there in the middle of August, so it's probably gonna be warm. Am I gonna want a bowl of oats? I don't know. This is a hard trip to plan, is what I'm trying to say. Anyways, Ultraplex, hello, hello. How are you doing? It's lovely to see you. Welcome on in. Kirp says, I liked Sydney when I was over there. Nice. I have a sibling who works for an Australian company, so he's been there a few times. In fact, the last time I was in Canada visiting my family, for most of my visit there, my sibling was in Sydney on business, going to conferences and meetings and taking phone calls and eating, what was it that he ended up eating a lot of? Was it Korean fried chicken maybe? I'm not sure, but anyways, something like that. And having just a lovely time. I was so jealous. Also a little bit cross that he didn't bring me Tim Tams back, but the good news is that apparently my local supermarket here in the UK now sells Tim Tams. Yes. Love it. Love to see it. Anyways, Mr. Heyman says, I would love to go to Australia, but the flight from the East Coast is so unbelievably long. Oh my god, I know. It is. I would really like to go to there, but it is such an immense distance. But getting to that part of the world at some point would be really nice. The coffee scene in Australia apparently is very good, and that's important to me. I like going places where I know the coffee is good. I have family-in-law in Japan, so we'll be visiting Japan at some point in the next couple of years, I hope. We'll be probably drinking a lot of coffee as well, because the coffee scene in Japan is pretty cool. Where else? Oh, Copenhagen, excellent coffee scene. I'll be there in a few weeks. New Zealand, amazing coffee scene. We'll be hopefully visiting there one day. I just plan my journeys around, will I be able to get a really good cup of coffee? Those are my priorities. Do they have nothing but like a sad bean to cup machine? Don't know. Anyways, Curbs wants to know, why did I move to the UK? I had graduated from university a few years earlier. I was planning to do graduate school in film production in New York City. Turns out I was fully priced out of being able to do that just because it was very cost prohibitive and my ability to like do any kind of part-time work was extremely restricted because I'm a foreigner. And so eventually I had to turn down my offers, which I was very, very sad about. And at that point I was kind of at a loss for what to do. I had spoken to a friend of mine, who is a producer, when we were both in LA for something. And he was like, you should move to Manchester. That's where all like the jobs in TV and film are. And I was like, hell yeah. Okay, I'll do that. Because I wanted to work in TV and film at the time. I still kind of do. It's been 10 years and I haven't done that. And so I ended up moving to Manchester. I got a nice little flat by myself. I struggled mightily to find work for pretty much my entire first year there. Apart from some like, sort of holding jobs that were very part-time and paid extremely poorly and did not cover my bills. Tried to do as much networking as I could. Nothing really led anywhere. And then I met my partner who lived in a different part of the country, ended up moving to that part of the country, finding some work in a different field, and then just stayed here. We got married, and I just live here now. That's basically my story. Australia's got good Asian food, and good food in general, says Carps. Listen, these are things what make me happy. I would love to visit some point and enjoy all of the food, because I bet it is a delightful. Mr. Hangman says, if I had funds enough for say 4 months, I'd go to the West Coast first, maybe fly to Japan from Vancouver, finally make my way down after a couple weeks there. That sounds like such a good plan. I would love that for you. Hey, buddy, welcome in. How are you doing? It's lovely to see you. Welcome on in. Hello, hello, hello. I'm sorry I'm not doing any sketching on screen at the moment. My hair, I put my hair up in a bun this morning, and it is just fully falling out of it. So I'm just going to quickly redo my hair so it doesn't get in my way while I'm working, because it's just too hot to be wearing my hair down. My hair is very, very long, so I tend to just throw it up in some, with some bobby pins most days. I'd love to do more sort of elaborate braided updos and that kind of thing, you know, like real Princess Leia core fashion. But most of the time, if I'm just in my house by myself, I just don't have it in me to put in that sort of effort, so I just don't. Anyways. Buddy says, all good, thanks, got my protein dinner, so I'm all pumped. Hell yeah, love that for you. I hope it is delicious. I'm looking forward to my fruit salad this evening. Yummy, yummy. I think it's gonna be really good. I have not made a fruit salad in years. Like, it has been so long. It has been absolute yonks. And I'm genuinely very excited because, you know what? I love fruit. I just love fruit, okay? And there is something really, really nice about just eating. You know, it's just an assemblage of fruits, but I think it's gonna be really nice. Trying to rough out some rock shapes into here is turning out to be really kind of doing my brain in more than I thought that it would, and I honestly don't know why. But here we are. Okay, so I kind of want to just. Maybe there's a rock kind of sticking out here. I'm kind of doing like this kind of shape. Okay. I think there's kind of, in the reference of the vague sort of area that I've chosen to be kind of my inspiration for this, which is the Osugidani Gorge in Japan. This is not like a one-to-one portrait of that area. I'm just using it as a kind of inspiration because it's real pretty and it's got a lot of rocks and a waterfall and trees and stuff, which is very, very fun. Is green gage a fruit? Because I have a tree full of them right now. Yes, it's a kind of plum, Aoife. And I'm real jealous that you've got a tree full of green gages because yum. You can make jam with them. Oh, that'd be so good. Curve says, I told my Peruvian coworker that I wanted to go to Bolivia, and he said, no. You know what? Fair enough. Does he want you to go to Peru instead? I hear the food's really good. Nice rock, bro, says Curbs. Hell yeah. And speaking of rock bros, that reminds me of when I did like before I got seriously back into doing like original artworks, which is really, I think, where a lot of my heart lives artistically. But I didn't do a lot for years because I got like one piece of unsolicited advice where somebody was like, you know, you should do more fan art because like there's a built-in audience for that and it'll be better and nobody cares about your original characters and ideas. And I was like, okay. And I just took that to heart, not realizing that I probably shouldn't just like take a single other person's advice and not, you know, maybe give it some thought and space as to whether or not that's actually how I want to live. But yeah, so I did quite a bit of like Marvel fan art for years, and the one character that I could never do properly like fan art of was Korg, who's a guy who's made out of rocks, because I couldn't figure out how to make him look like a cute dude in my art style and also look like a guy made out of rocks. It was just impossible. Anyways, my sister already harvested 200 kilograms, and my tree looks as full as hers did. Oh my god. Samantha says 200 kilograms, that's a lot of plum. I agree also. Hi, Samantha. Lovely to see you. Welcome in. I'd never be able to draw with such a tiny pencil. Well done. I think I'm just used to it. I think I'm just used to it. Also because I guess I put my hand so close to the end of the pencil that it doesn't it doesn't really bother me. Moral of the story, never listen to people, says Samantha. Yes, I wholeheartedly agree. Never listen to people. It's not a good idea. Many distractions is taking notes. Cool. Kerp says, he said it's too dangerous right now, and I'm like, bro, we're in the US. You know what? Fair. I think the thing is, anywhere can be dangerous. Like, anywhere can be dangerous. My neighborhood could be dangerous. You know, your neighborhood could be dangerous. It's not necessarily something to stop you from going to places, but I think it's also, especially if you're not from an area, to be mindful because you might not be aware of, I guess, certain things to watch out for. Like, I do have genuine fears of, like the possibilities of having things, like, stolen from you when you're traveling and that kind of thing, and being very, sort of aware of what's going on around you and of the possessions on your person when you're in, like, busy, touristy areas. To be honest, I don't really have major plans to visit a lot of touristy areas. But also, I mean, one of the first times I visited London, I had a guy come up to me and start asking me all of these questions. And first he just asked me, you know, could you tell me the directions to Trafalgar Square? And I was like, yeah, I think it's that way. And he's like, oh, okay, thanks. And then he just kept talking to me. But he was like, so, you know, are you traveling? And I'm like, mm-hmm. And he's like, oh, are you all by yourself? And I'm like, nope. I wasn't going to tell him that I was. I was like, no, actually, I'm meeting some friends for dinner, so I'm going to have to skedaddle. Because, you know, he seemed real nice and friendly, but I also got a vibe of, there's a good chance I'm about to get robbed. At best. Anyways. But yeah. It's so hard to capture the New Zealand accent in a painting, says Aoife. Yes, definitely. And let's be honest, that is a big part of Korg. I love him so much, though. He's my favorite character in the entire Marvel Cinematic Universe. He's just a happy, giant, gay rock man, and how could you not love that? Anyways, where we're at, definitely dangerous, says Kerps. Aw, Beans. Did you pull out your knife? I have but a pencil, but it is quite sharp, so... Anyways, paint a kiwi burp cannibalizing kiwi fruit, says Samantha. Oh no, that's too violent. That's too violent for this stream, I think. But at least we have some slightly more defined rock shapes. I don't think I want to draw in all of the tiny little textures. I think I'll just kind of chill a bit on getting all of those textures down. But I want to kind of establish where the, like, tree-ish areas are. Curve says, leave me alone, bruv! Yep. Excuse me. Anywho. So, where's Trafalgar Square? Are you traveling alone? Just out of interest. You still got both kidneys? Says Aoife. Yeah, exactly. That's not in any way a vaguely threatening vibe. I did also one time when I was waiting for a bus at the bus station in Buffalo, and I was literally coming down with a cold as I was traveling. It was awful. I was getting something out of the vending machine during my stopover. I had about 10 minutes before it was time to catch my bus out of there. And this guy comes up to me at the vending machine. He's like, hey, how's it going? Are you traveling by yourself? Did you want to... Listen, I got a car. Did you want to go on... I could take you on a tour of some of the coolest spots in town. And I'm like, no. Like, my bus is going to be here in, like, 10 minutes. And also, it's Buffalo, New York. And if you know Buffalo, New York, you know it's not a tourist destination. There's some neat stuff in Buffalo, but it's not a tourist destination. Like, buddy, no. Do you really think I'm just gonna go on a little whistle stop tour of all the coolest places in? But no, absolutely not. Please leave me alone. Anyways, all of these happened when I was, like, under 30 and didn't look scary yet. How many buffalo did you see in Buffalo? Sadly, none. Sadly, none. But they did have ginger ale in the vending machine, so they had that going for them. Buffalo's a bit touristy, kind of. I mean, it is in as much as it's like a city, and it's got an art gallery that's quite good, if memory serves. But like, it's not the kind of place where I would risk missing my bus to go on a tour. You know what I mean? It is where they made buffalo wings. That's why they're called buffalo wings, though. Okay, fun story. My grandma, who is sadly no longer with us, may she rest in peace. We love her so much. She was a remarkable lady in so many ways. She was wonderful. I love her so much. But she, and again, I love her so much. She thought that buffalo wings came from the buffalo. As in, they were some part of she didn't know that they were chicken wings that were of the style that was made in the city of Buffalo. She thought that they were a part of the buffalo animal that was made into these little wings. Anyways, did I mention I love my grandma very much? She was a very sweet lady. You mean buffalo wings aren't made from flying buffalo? I'm so sorry to have to break it to you. I really am sorry to have to break it to you. Buffalo has no buffaloes? False advertising, says Benny Distractions. It's the only place where buffalo actually grow wings, says Aoife. Fun fact, most buffalo are flightless, just like kiwi. Oh, maybe I should do a portrait of a buffalo and a kiwi hanging out sometime. Would that be cute? I feel like that would be kind of cute. Oh no, I'm having ideas, chat. I am having ideas. Uh-oh. Okay, how the flip am I gonna represent these gosh dang trees? Trying to figure out the best way to represent these gosh dang trees, and it is... If I just make some vague... Like, these vague squiggles just feel real bad to me, but I don't want to not draw in anything, because then I won't I need some kind of guideline for where to put my, tree-ish stuff. I've got kind of a rock that comes down like this, and then I guess there's kind of some foliage coming down, and maybe if I just draw in some vague sort of tree branchy shapes, then we can kind of get an idea of where the foliage is going to come in. If I do that, maybe perchance, because we've got like some cliff going up a reasonable distance here, but there are some bits of greenery sort of coming off of it in reasonable quantities, and then sort of this is all tree-y kind of stuff reaching back into here, and then sort of trees and foliage. Oh my god, this looks so fugly right now. This looks so bad. But please just trust me when I say it will, I believe, come together. And do we want to get some somewhat more nice bigger leaves kind of in the foreground, perhaps? I think might help it out a little bit as well. Anyways, but yeah, instant cuteness, just add kiwi, says Samantha. I love them so much. They are some of my favorite birds. I do have a kiwi bird print in my shop at the moment. I think I do anyways. I think I do? Maybe pop a link to the shop in the chat, because I genuinely don't remember. But you should check it out anyways. Buffalo used to have buffalo, but the Buffaloians killed them all for their wing sauces, Kerps. Oh my god, that's brutal. Also, very unsustainable practice. Seems like an unsustainable way to produce sauce, says Samantha. Yes, I wholeheartedly agree. I played like 15 minutes of football with my 4-year-old niece today. Felt like I ran 5 kilometers. I think I need to touch grass more. Oh my god, that's such a mood, Aoife. That is such a mood. But also, if it's warm where you are like it is here, it just takes... Physical stuff just takes more out of you when it's hot out. Anyways. That's why buffalo sauce went extinct, says Curbs. Poor us. Oh, that's so sad. But at least whatever animal produces ranch sauce, seems to be going strong. I had a delicious vegetarian chicken bacon ranch salad for dinner last night, and let me tell you, it was top-notch deliciousness and very easy to make, which is my favorite kind. Anyways, gazillions out of 10 do recommend a nice vegetarian chicken bacon ranch meal. It's a good salad. I say this because I didn't actually realize you could get ranch dressing in this country, the UK. So we got a little potto of ranch dip in Canada because I genuinely wasn't sure whether or not my moderator / spouse was going to like ranch. But he wanted to try ranch sauce. So we got a little cuppy to dip vegetables in for lunch one day. And he tried it and he was like, I think he was expecting it to be more like gloopy mayonnaise-y, and it's not really. It's like buttermilk and herbs, and it's quite refreshing, I think. But yeah, turns out he loves ranch sauce. So we are a ranch sauce house now. I think ranch is just naturally produced sauce, says Samantha. You don't need to kill anything. The ranch hands just rake the sauce up each morning. Oh, that's how it's made. I wondered if there was maybe like a spring, but actually raking it up makes sense as well. And then just sort of scoop it into little pottos. And Soylent Green is ranch, says Kerps. Oh, great. I thought it was vegetarian. Anyways. It cooled down a lot lately. We're down to only 32 or so it's quite nice and chill. Only 32, Aoife? That's not chill for me. Oh god. I wish I felt chill at 32. I love tzatziki, says Indigo. Oh, tzatziki is so good. So good. With like nice and garlicky. Nice and garlicky and refreshing. Oh. It's delicious. I do like a good tzatziki. For sure. That is a good one. Oh man. Oh man. Now I want to make some kind of veggie souvlaki situation. Which I haven't done in a very, very, very long time because I don't really have a good grill for it in the house. So it's very difficult to do it. But that sounds good to me. Imagine biting into a fresh, crisp apple and it's just ranch on the inside. Why would you make me imagine that, Kerps? That sounds like kind of a sensory nightmare. Oh my god. Oh my god. Oh my god. I lived through over a month of 36 to 38 with not a day under 35 for almost 5 weeks straight, says Aoife. And it's lake country, so humid AF 232 is so nice right now. I suppose it is all relative. And I will say, having heard this from many a person, what 30 degrees feels like in the UK is very different to, for instance, what 30 degrees feels like in Cyprus, right? I know this from a friend who's from Cyprus, lives in London, and is like, yeah, 40 degrees in Cyprus feels like 30 degrees in London. So, listen, it's all relative, and a lot of it has to do with the humidity levels, dew point, wind speeds, as to how these things will feel for you. So, yeah. Anywho. Well, I won't be eating apples again for a while, says Samantha. To be fair, the apples are not locally grown at the moment. It is not the season for apples here in the UK. I know this because I tried to buy apples at the supermarket yesterday, and they were all from South Africa and New Zealand. And listen, I love South Africa and New Zealand very, very much, but I would rather buy things that didn't have to travel quite so much of a distance to get to me. Because carbon footprint. Excuse me. Oh, what's 30 degrees in American? Like 80? I have absolutely no clue. Let me look it up. Because now you've piqued my interest. C to F converter, please. Alright, so 30 degrees Celsius is 86 in Fahrenheit. So there you go. Thank you, Samantha. Samantha has also done the math. Thank you. And thank you for the Gesundheit as well. I appreciate it. But yeah. 36 is about 100, says Aoife. Yeah, it's not far off. It's definitely 36 would be in the 90s, I believe. So, not super far off. Okay. I want to do we want to have maybe some just like, some nice little bits of greenery, sort of closer to the foreground here that are a little bit more visible. Just because I think it would be cute. Like so. And then maybe a little bit sort of coming from somewhere over here. I just want the rocks and greenery to make some kind of sense to my brain, I guess. And I don't know if I'm doing a very good job of that, but never mind. Yeah, I don't know what's going on with that. This is a weird piece for me to try and, like, just mentally parse out what bits of it I need to paint first and how to do. And the answer is a resounding, I don't know. I don't know. This painting is so confusing to me. What bits do I do first? I don't know. 30 is also 303 Kelvin, says Samantha. That's pretty hot for the UK, no, says Kerps? Yes, it is, and Canada. It got, back in the old country where I'm from in southern Ontario, we would see, like, hottest days, sort of, I would say, in the mid-30s, and it got pretty oppressive and nasty. But I will say, just because of the even more humidity here in the UK, and it got pretty humid back home, it is even more intolerable here. But also, most people's houses here in the UK are built to, like, contain heat really well. Not that they actually keep you very warm in the winter. They get super cold in the winter and they stay super hot in the summer. It is deeply unpleasant. Basically what I'm saying is that British houses on the whole are just kind of bad. You know? But also the other thing in the UK is that it is very non-standard for anybody to have air conditioning at home. Houses are not built for air conditioning. The way that, like, windows are shaped can't really accommodate, like, window units of air conditioning. And having air conditioning, like, plumbed into the building or, like, wall-mounted AC units, super rare. Super rare. M&AP, hello, welcome in. How are you doing? Lovely to see you. Welcome, welcome. Hope you're having a beautiful Thursday. Curve says it's been really humid over here too the past couple days. Hard to breathe outside. Oh, I know. I have a bit of asthma that crops up every once in a while, and they cannot stand the hot weather. I woke up wheezing this morning because the air was just too sticky. I'm like, no, my lungs do not want this. Please dry out. We used to have a dehumidifier in the bedroom, and it died. And we haven't replaced it, because it sucks. The UK building infrastructure just stubbornly refuses to accept that the climate is getting hotter, says Samantha. Yep, absolutely. I honestly think it is. I mean, there was quite a hot summer the year that I moved here, but I do think it's been getting hotter in the last 10 years. For sure, for sure. We had, like, the barest whisper of snow this winter, and I felt really sad not being able to see snow. I know snow is a massive pain in the backside most of the time when it's happening, but man, my heart and soul long to see snow for a period of time in the winter. Otherwise, it doesn't really feel as though time is passing. Passing? Oh, I'll shut up. Anyways. I don't mind the heat outside, says Aoife, but my place just does not cool down at all. Yeah, that's the difference. It's actually... Honestly, it was not as bad outside of buildings yesterday evening when I was out getting groceries and stuff around sort of 4 or 5 in the afternoon as it was inside where the heat just builds and just gets this disgusting miasma of stickiness. Crip says, I was just telling this to Bossa, but every house needs a basement. Oh, you'd hate it in the UK. We don't do basements. But that's partly because a lot of parts of the UK are prone to flooding as well. So, not really as practical to have basements here, I think, for that reason. But, man, I wish I had a basement sometimes. Eben says, I'm good, thanks. What about you? I'm doing pretty good now. I was very uncomfortably warm earlier, but I've been drinking a lot of nice cold beverages, and it's really helping. Samantha says, pretty much every year the UK sets a new heat record. I feel like I almost curse things by moving here. It's like I brought the weather with me, and I am so sorry. I really am so sorry. Aoife says, I spent half a day in the basement to defrost my grand's freezers for fun. Because it was so nice down there. Honestly, that does sound kind of fun. Just make unfloodable basements, says Carps. They can't even make houses that are comfortable temperatures at most times of years. Do you really think that the UK house building infrastructure society can make an unfloodable basement? Because I don't. Samantha says lots of places in the UK are prone to flooding because we keep building on and covering floodplains in non-porous materials. Huh, odd that. Yeah, I do not trust the people who keep building on and covering floodplains in non-porous materials to know how to make a floodless basement. The UK just sounds like Texas right now. And the trouble with that is we don't even have Buc-ee's. I've only ever had an airport layover in Texas, but I've heard about Buc-ee's, and it sounds like an amazing wonderland of weirdness. It is weird to me that, like, petrol stations in parts of America are basically just, like, superstores, and they're huge, and their car parks are huge, and everything is so large. It baffles me because we have such little... Like, I come from a large country. I come from a very population-dense region of a large country, but I'm still used to living in a large enough country that it took a while for me to get used to the geographical scale of the UK, but I've been living in the UK for just long enough that now I'm used to the British geographical scale, and the idea of places like even, just the number of lanes on the highways and how big they are in Canada and how many lanes I have to cross to get across the street in some areas. I'm like, this is so big. I'm going to die here. And it was just every day for me back then. It's real weird. It's not amazing. It's just a huge gas station. I know, but I've never been to one. And I just want to, and I feel like I have to experience it. Because gas stations generally in the US seem like a whole other kettle of fish to what they are here, which is tiny. For the most part, just tiny. Twitch changed their mobile app, says Evan. And now you don't show on my following list when you're live. Oh, I'm sorry. But also, hi, it's nice that you found me anyways. I do appreciate it. But damn it, Twitch! I did hear that the new update has made things worse. Which, come on, Twitch. Come on, man. Anyways, I just googled, Aoife says, I just googled somebody else is just playing, and the game looks like you would like it. Just by art style alone. No idea yet what kind of game it is, though. It's called Thank Goodness You're Here. I've seen or heard something about that game, and I also don't know anything about it, but I will look into it because that sounds... I like the name of it. It sounds like fun. Samantha says, the UK is a tiny country that thinks it is a much larger country. Yep. Rail prices certainly would reflect that, because damn, it should not cost me almost £100 to go an hour and a half north of here. Anyways, all our gas stations are tiny too, says Curves, just not Buc-ee's. I see. I don't use a current or unmodded version of most apps, says Indigo. That is so valid of you, honestly. Extremely valid, because, like, damn. It is, isn't it? Anyways. I don't know how to start painting this. I really don't. Evan, thank you for re-following. It's nice to see you again. Thank you. I think I'm gonna masking fluid off these little guys so I can get a nice sort of interesting, sort of groovy, nice wet color for the water pool here. And otherwise, come on. But not paint over these little guys by mistake. So. Okay, the masking fluid is gross. So I'm just going to try and peel off some of the bits that dried on the inside of the bottle. Did you watch Moomin's Grow? I love the Moomin's, Curves. I love the Moomin's so much. I have very much been in my Moomin era for a few years. I don't have it here with me today, but I do have a Moomin mug that I drink from on many streams. That is a very lovely little moment of they are down by a lake, and Moomin Troll and Snufkin are making pancakes, and Moomin Mama is going for a swim in the lake. It's very, very cute. Oh no, Evan says the new Twitch app is bad. Why would they make it worse? What incentive is there for them to make it worse? They're putting in effort and then making a thing worse. I don't understand it. Anyways, Eva says, oh my god, trains got so expensive here too since they privatized it. It was so much nicer when it was in government hands. Yup. 0 out of 10. Do not recommend. It's so frustrating to me that, that they, that they just, there's no apparent logic or regulation around rail prices. And I recognize that a lot of the British rail system is kind of old. You know, we've had railways for a very, very long time. A lot of these railways are very old. They probably require a lot of upkeep and retooling and fixing and rail replacement bus services and infrastructure and staffing and all that jazz. But good God, they should not be. They are prohibitively expensive. You know? And I had an advert on a podcast recently that was like, hey, you know, you want to go on that trip, consider taking a train instead of driving. It's better for the environment. And I'm like, I would love to take a train instead of driving. But I can't do either because I don't own a car. And oh gee, if I want to catch a train to this place that's like an hour from me at the last minute, it's gonna cost me £250. It's so genuinely frustrating. But anyways. Kurt says, I didn't know they were a thing until like a year or two ago because we never got movements in the US, but I found it on YouTube and it looked cute. Hell yeah. Well, I'm glad that you found it. Very much I am. I enjoy a lot of movement content. Evan says, only one stream shows on the following list, and there was like a little button at the bottom to show more live channels that you're following. But the app was fine before. Why did they make that change? That's a terrible change. Samantha says the supposed benefits of privatization, competition improving services, getting better value for customers, just cannot exist with rail, where you are not choosing between competing services, you're choosing the train that gets you where you want to go. Exactly, Samantha. Wholeheartedly agree. It's not like, do I want to travel by Southwestern, or do I want to travel by Northern? Evan!
Oh hell yeah, Evan AP just subscribed.
Evan, thank you so much for the sub. Please enjoy all your emotes and stuff. I very appreciate it. Have a lovely sub time, and thank you very much indeed. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Oh my goodness. Thank you so much. I hope you enjoy your sub. But yeah, I'm glad you're here as well. But yeah, it's not like, I think I'm going to travel by Southwestern trains. Oh no, I feel like traveling by Northern Rail today. Actually, I'm going to take cross country, even though their trains smell kind of like the bathroom the whole time because of the way they're designed. No, it's you take whatever train is going to where you want to. So if it's Southern Rail, you're saddled with Southern Rail. If it is Greater Anglia, you're taking a Greater Anglia train. That's just what it is. It's either you take a Greater Anglia train because that's where it goes to the station you want to go to, or you get a taxi, or you fly, or you drive your car, or you take a cumbersome bus that takes 5 times as long. Like, that's it. Indigo says YouTube jumped on the short form bandwagon, and it works. So Twitch tries to, even though it makes no sense. Oh yes, of course, because you can make your Twitch clips into like portrait format now, and I just like why? I have exported my Twitch clips to other platforms sometimes, but I rarely do it, honestly, because I don't like short form video. The clips on Twitch are fine, but in general I don't like making short form videos. I do make Instagram Reels sometimes because I desperately want the algorithm to think that I'm relevant, Because my God, I get no reach and no engagement on Instagram, and it makes me really depressed because I would like more people to be able to see my artwork, because I would like for people to like my art enough that I can keep doing it. Anyways, but yeah, let me catch up with chat because I think I missed some bits and now I can get it to scroll up. But yes, Kirp says, apparently it never came to the US because Disney tried taking the rights to it. Oh yes, I remember this! Disney tried to buy the rights to the Moomins. And Tove Jansson was like, no. And you know what? I think she was probably right. And good for her. They don't need them. Anyways, Samantha says, and when they have tried different services running on the same lines, it was an absolute disaster. Yeah, it doesn't make sense. It just doesn't make sense. Aoife says, YouTube started getting through my ad blockers sometimes again. No! Already ruined one of my naps. Oh, that's so rude. I understand that, I'm using a free service, and free services often run on ads, but man, the ads on YouTube have been getting so much more invasive lately. More unskippable, longer, more frequent. It's just like, I hate it. But yeah, Samantha says, so we have the worst of both worlds, where the government is in charge of the infrastructure, that's the rail infrastructure, but a private interest make the actual money from tickets. Everything about it is bad. They replaced the home tab on the app with a scroll feed. Oh my God, are they genuinely trying to be like TikTok or something? That's just annoying. Like, why? She was definitely right, says Curps. Yeah, I agree. Evan says, I don't know how Twitch chooses how to pick one streamer to show you on your following list instead of just having it where you can see. You should be able to see. I would like to see at a glance which channels that I'm following are currently live. I mean, that's how I know which tabs to open to lurk in while I'm working on stuff, YouTube ad shitification is why I first installed an ad blocker. Yeah, do they not realize they're just driving more people towards installing ad blockers by making their ads worse? Because surely that's what's happening. Aoife says, I wouldn't mind sensible ads, but YouTube especially is unwatchable in my opinion with ads. There are some ads that I don't mind. Namely the ones starring my celebrity crush that I still get from time to time. I actually saw there was another ad in that series of ads that he did that I'd never seen before that I saw the other day, and it was so exciting. But because it's an ad, I can't just go look up the video, and it's really annoying. I should just email the company that makes the accounting software and be like, can you give me the YouTube like unlisted link to this specific ad? I just want to see it again. I will buy your accounting software if you do this for me. Thank you. They probably won't, but they know, says Samantha, but their answer is to try and squeeze more money out of the people who don't use ad blockers. It just sucks. I keep getting political ads on YouTube, says Curse. Oh no, I'm so sorry. At least I don't tend to see those very often. But yeah, I put my own ads on YouTube because I make music, and so please don't skip my ads, says Eben. If it makes you feel any better, I never skip the ads on YouTube. I watch all the ads on YouTube, mostly because I want the creators that I watch to get some sliver of ad revenue out of it, but yeah. And some ads I just complain about because there are some terrible ads as well. It's just the amount, says Aoife, and the fact that the volume is always so much higher than the video you're watching. It's just a shitty thing to do. Oh, when the volume changes, that's not cool. That's very, very not cool. There are videos that I've watched that are much quieter than everything else. You never skip ads, says Carps? Nah. I just, I don't have an ad blocker. I just let them happen. I mean, sometimes they're fun. Most of the time they're boring. That being said, if an ad is over a minute long, like when it's, sometimes you'll get an ad that is just a 30-minute video, or like, here's a 90-minute talk that someone gave at a trade conference. I'm like, why are you making this an ad? Like, why would you make an ad out of something that's longer than the video that you're watching? That I don't understand. That I will skip. The worst is when the advertiser intentionally makes their ad as long as possible without it being long enough to give you the skip option. It's very, they know exactly how many seconds it needs to be, though. But what if it's one of those ads that are like an actual hour-long movie, says Carps? Yeah, no, that gets a skip. Because I will occasionally get ones that are like, you know, sort of like, hi, and welcome to Let's Talk About Healthcare with Booper. My name's Rachel, and I'm going to spend the next 45 minutes talking with these business owners about their health insurance. And I'm just like, why is this an ad? I was trying to watch a soap making video that's 10 minutes long. This is a 45-minute interview panel. If YouTube starts playing an ad, I rage quit the browser usually. Oh no. Anyways. But yeah, it's some really niche thing. Indigo says, of course I'll make you buy my course, I'll make you a millionaire if you give me $2,000. Oh, those are, the ones that are like, oh, here's just this one secret that, why aren't you making money with this? And it's, you know, like that, they're all scams. Anyways. I always report the scam ads, because they're nasty. Evan Lurk, I need to deal with my washing, so I'll be back. Have a lovely, lovely Lurk. We're probably going to be wrapping up shortly because I have to go eat dinner. We didn't start painting this today, but we will start painting it next time with these colors, and I'm very looking forward to it. I'm very nervous about starting this painting because I honestly don't really know what I'm doing here. So hopefully it's fine. Contrapreneurs, says Samantha. That's them exactly. It's terrible. But yeah, those are the worst types. Like, so bad I hope their business fails. Boopa, we have the NHS in this country. No one wants you. Exactly, Samantha. Maybe that's why they have to put up 45-minute ads. They're desperate. But they hope you forget what you clicked on and get hooked, says Indigo. Maybe. But they're always, like, really boring, like, business marketing stuff. And I'm like, why do you think I want this? Why do you think I like this? No, it's not a Ponzi scheme because I said so, says Indigo. Oh my god. Anyways, exclamation mark shop in the chat. Sorry for the ad, everybody. But anyways, there's never a good time to shoehorn that in. We're talking about ads, which makes it even worse. Please don't hate me. I honestly, the prevalence of, like, crappy ads makes it so hard for me to feel okay about self-promoting. Because I don't want to add to the ceaseless noise of adverts. But I am also an artist who needs to be able to afford to continue to buy art supplies if I'm going to keep making art. So I have to do it, and it feels really bad. Anyways, ooh, Evan says I'll be going to Italy in a few days and I need to finish off packing. Sounds nice. I hope you have a lovely visit to Italy as well. I hope the weather is good. I hope the food is amazing. I hope you get yourself a nice cup of coffee or another treat that you enjoy. I'm sure it'll be very, very, very nice. I hope so anyways. Aoife says YouTube gets worse and worse with bot comments and channels that just upload strangers' whole Twitch streams. I reported so many of those, all the while cranking ads up to insane amounts. Oh, that makes me so angry. That makes me so angry. I do have a VOD channel for this Twitch channel. It is me uploading them, but I think that's probably fairly obvious. It's here if you wanted to follow it. You don't have to. Because, I mean, why would you want to watch VODs of these streams? But it does exist. But anyways. I heard Italy got good Hot Pockets. Hell yeah. Hell yeah. Love that for you. Delicious, delicious Hot Pockets. Anyways. Evan says it's going to be 35 degrees C whilst I'm there, and I live in the UK, of course, the same as you, and it's already hot here. Oh boy. I hope at least there's a bit of a breeze, and maybe not as much humidity then. But also, bring sunscreen, drink a butt ton of water, and try not to overexert yourself, because that sounds like a lot. Anyways, I'm gonna head out because I need to go have some dinner. I'll be back tomorrow playing Hollow Knight tomorrow morning. So, you've got that to look forward to if that's something that you might be interested in checking out. If not, I'll be back on Monday actually painting some of this. But in the meantime, is there someone we can do a little raid on? Yes, there are. Okay. I'm just gonna double check and make sure that this person is not just about to finish. Hopefully they're not. Because it would be nice to give them a little raid. If I can. If I can get it to load. What are you up to, buddy? It's taking a minute. It's taking a minute. Okay. They're probably not just about to end stream, so I'm going to send us in that direction. I'm popping a generic raid message in the chat. If you have the emotes, feel free to grab the emotes. If you do not have the emotes, feel free to just say a generic raid message or append whatever cool emotes you happen to have. But that's there in the chat for you if you would like to do that. I'm going to actually start the raid, which apparently I haven't done. Oops. If it's working. Is that working? Start raid. Is it starting the raid? I can't tell if it's... Okay, it started the raid. Yay! Awesome. You are already raiding... Yes, I know I'm about to raid them. Anyways, Twitch is being silly, but the raid worked, so I'll see you soon. Have a good evening, everybody. Thank you so much for hanging out, and yeah, I'll be back tomorrow morning. But yeah, see you soon. You're all breathtaking, and have a good one, everybody. Goodbye, and good night.